as needed. Hey, Mr. Marshmallow. Sometimes I'm slow. And that's what I'm saying about today. We are going to try to include maybe a couple more poses than usual. So if you need to modify, if you need to pause at any point, that is what this is for, right? This is not about you following what I did for me the entire time. Yes, it's a suggestion and you can follow along, but if you find that you need to pause and stay somewhere or some pose is not available to you today, there is no shame, there is no guilt, there is no bitching at ourselves, there is no chiding ourselves, there is just meeting ourselves where we're at in this space and saying, hello, I love you for your boundaries, even if I don't like them all the time, right? So, modify, because you are your own guru. I can't be in your body, in your chair, right? I'm over that. The problem is the coffee is really good, even though it's really strong and making me all kind of crazy jittery. It's also really good. Just for today. Just for today. I used to have a little... There is a energy work piece that I always did with this prayer. And you know what? I'm trying to decide if we should put this in with the flow or we should do it later, because I have it all written down right there. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. Just for today, I will give thanks for my blessings. Just for today, I will be kind to my neighbor and every living thing. But there's a hand position with each of them to go with the chakras that the statements are associated with. So, if you guys want to do it another time. Micah, hi. Having a bad mental health day? Grab yourself a seat and we're going to work it out, okay? Grab yourself a seat and we'll work it out. Oh no, I got an itchy nose. Oh no. Oh no. Micah, stay for the shenanigans. It'll be all better. Itchy nose. Good morning, Infinite Soul. Okay, y'all. Let me make sure the camera angles are all in the right position. I have been having big sneezes this morning already, so that's probably where that's probably gonna happen. Okay. Put everything in the right spot here. Looks like it. Everybody good? We good? All right, my friends, grab yourself a seat. It can be the edge of your bed. It can be a chair. It can be your office chair at work. It can be the front seat of your car. Although if it's in the front seat of your car, you're probably going to need to open your car door because we're going to extend our legs a little bit. If you don't have a lot of space overhead and our arms go overhead, feel free to modify just by folding your arms and sending your elbows up rather than your full extension. Remember that you are in your own body. So for every pose we move through, I invite you to modify for where you are at. This is a 30-minute flow for every body and every space. So we're going to start and end our practice the same way today. Oh, hi. For those of you who are new here, my name is Reverend Deborah. I'm an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and your shenanigans shaman, because we do talk about and practice and play with serious concepts in here, but we don't take ourselves too seriously, because within that playfulness, we afford ourselves the opportunity to grow and to learn, and a little bit of space. At least, you know, sometimes we can't always cultivate love or for self, or we can't always cultivate patience for self, but if we can meet self with curiosity and a little bit of laughter, it does wonders for the whole self, Just don't be driving your car while doing this. Precisely. Pull over to the side of the road and get yourself some front seat yoga. All right. So we are going to start and end the same way with our mudra. We're just going to spend 5 minutes at the beginning sitting with our mudra, breathing intentionally, and then we're going to close our practice the same way, sitting and breathing intentionally for 5 minutes with our mudra. Why are we doing this? Because this week's mudra is the mudra for mystery, the Shanka Mudra. This mudra works on several different energy centers, works to clarify the voice, can help with speech issues like stuttering and other impediments and things like that. It soothes the, what's it called? The reproductive glands. This also calms the mind. And it's also good for the hair and bones and nails. This Shanka translates to conch shell. So this mudra is a conch shell. Nicole, okay, we'll go in real slow. Nicole's running off to the bathroom. Anybody else need a bathroom break before we start? I can pause. So our mudra is the conch shell mudra. If you've been to class earlier this week, then hopefully you've already been sitting with your mudra. I will show you this mudra a couple of times here, so that everybody who needed a potty break can get back in time. I love you guys so much. So, this is the Shanka Mudra. You take your left hand and give a thumbs up with your left hand. Take your right hand. Okay, ready? Glad you're back. Okay, the Shanka Mudra. We're going to sit for the first 5 minutes with this mudra. And then we're going to move into our flow. And then we're going to sit with this mudra again. The mudra for mystery. Left thumbs up. Right palm wraps around the left thumb. Take the fingers of the left hand and scoop them up around the fist. Bring the pad of the right thumb to touch the fingers of the left hand. So you're going to have to bundle up your fingers a little bit so that they get to the pad of the thumb. If you can't reach all the fingers to the thumb right now, it's not important. It's more about the practice and being present with the practice and having patience with yourself, right? So this is what your mudra will look like here. Brian, you can't seem to get in the Discord. Go slow. Okay, I'll take my time today. We're not going to speed through everything, but we are going to have a couple extra poses, so it might be a little bit extra time today. So here's what the inside of your mudra should look like. The Shanka Mudra. The backside will look like so, and at the top you'll see the thumb and the fingers together. So we hold this at our heart, and I invite you to ground your feet for a minute. So bring your knees to shoulder width apart. Feet flat on the ground, wiggle your toes, roll your feet side to side, press into the heels, into the ball of the foot. Make sure every part of your foot that can be touching the ground is touching the ground. It's okay if you have shoes on too. Point is still to ground intentionally in your feet. Now go ahead and close your eyes if it's available to you. And let's take 3 deep breaths to fully arrive for our practice. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and lifting through the top of the head. Exhale, melt the shoulder blades down the back. Inhale again, expanding the rib cage in all directions. Big, deep breath and hold at the top. Take in a tiny more air. Tiny bit more. Okay, now let it go. Now seal the lips and allow the breath to settle into a comfortable, steady rhythm of inhales and exhales. We're just going to spend 5 minutes breathing and listening to this inner space. Focusing on the mudra, on the breath, and allowing everything else to match the rhythm of the inhale and exhale. Emotions, thoughts, sensations, they all rise and fall the same way the heart rises and falls on your breath, the same way the mudra rises and falls on your chest. So just 5 minutes here. Slow, steady inhales and exhales, meeting anything that comes up with curiosity. Rather than with contempt or judgment, we allow thoughts, instead of being distracting, to be more like clouds or bubbles that pass by. Simply be the observer, laying back within yourself. Inhales and exhales. Turning your hearing into your inner space. Just witness, just listen. Slow, steady breaths. It's okay if your mind is busy. The intention here is not to create a quiet space. The intention here is just to witness whatever is going on within. Stay with the breath. Hold the mudra with intention. Release any tension with every exhale. Any tension in the breath, in the mudra, in the body, in the mind. Stay with the breath. Return to the breath anytime you get pulled away. Go ahead and take another big, deep breath in. Hold the top. And exhale as you gently release your mudra, bringing your hands to rest on your thighs, palms down. And you can keep your eyes closed for as long as you would like to. We're going to go ahead and move into warming up the muscles of the neck. So just tip your ear to your right shoulder. Bring it back up to neutral. Tip your ear to your left shoulder. Gentle, slow. We're not trying to pop the neck. We're not trying to scrunch the shoulder up. Keep the shoulders relaxed and just tip the head back and forth. My neck is quite stiff. I'm lacking mobility right now, so this is a slow one. Take your time back and forth. Then come back to neutral. Tip the chin up. Inhale. Exhale, tip the chin down. Inhale, chin up. Exhale, chin down. Go ahead and roll one direction. Just meeting your edges. No need to change anything. We're just saying hello to the muscles and again, noticing where everything is at. Once you reach the bottom with your chin to your chest again, go ahead and switch directions. Oh, such a stiff neck. Gentle. Ooh-wee. Come back to neutral and extend your right arm. Keep the hand on your right hand lazy. Keep it floppy, right? Keep it hanging there like this. Keep your right arm extended, parallel to your shoulder. Bring your left arm up overhead and place your hand over your right ear. Gently. We're not pulling, we're not creating a ton of tension. Just use the hand to guide the head back down to the left shoulder. So you're going to get an extra stretch here all the way through the arm. See if you can find the tendon where you can feel it all the way from your wrist or even into your fingers and through your neck. Lifting the arm up above the shoulder just a couple inches and down below the shoulder a couple more inches. So we're only going a couple inches, lifting and dropping the arm. A little extra stretch through the neck. Keeping the arm extended, release your left hand, release the head. Turn the palm up of the right hand and reach over for a side bend. Side bend to the left. Inhale, create space. Exhale. Inhale back up to neutral and release the right arm. Same thing on the left side. Left arm up and out, parallel to the shoulder. Keep your left hand lazy, hanging there. Right arm goes over the head to rest on the left side of the head. Allow the head, guide the head down towards the right shoulder. Slowly inhale the arm up a couple inches, exhale the arm down. This is a small movement, just looking to explore the length of the muscles in the arm and through the neck. A couple times, inhaling up, exhaling down. Bring the arm back to neutral, keeping it extended. Release the head, release the right arm down to your bed or your chair. Turn the left palm up and reach overhead for another side stretch. Right side stretch this time. Inhale to create space. Exhale. Inhale back up to center. Bring both palms together. Turn them up towards the ceiling for a palm tree. Reach up high. And then turn your torso to the right into a nice side twist. We're twisting here. Now just stop wherever your torso stops. And release the arms. Open the arms so your right hand rests behind you or on the back of your chair. And your left arm comes to the outside of your right knee. Take a deep breath here. Exhale, elongate through the spine. Make sure to really lift through the spine. We're not trying to crunch the spine over. We want a nice long spine that gets a wringing out, like we're wringing out a towel. Inhale. Exhale, gaze over your right shoulder to deepen the twist. One more deep breath here. Exhale. Inhale again. And exhale to slowly release. Let's not slingshot ourselves back to the front. We're going to go for the other side. So interlace the fingers. Press the palms up towards the ceiling in a palm tree. Inhale. And twist the torso to the left. Just turn as far as the torso will go while keeping the knees shoulder width apart, facing forward. And exhale to open the arms. Left arm behind you, right arm on the outside of the left knee. Deep breath. Exhale, lengthen through the spine. Inhale again. Exhale to gaze over your back shoulder, keeping the spine long, wringing out the length of the spine from the tailbone to the top of the head. Deep breath. And exhale to slowly come back out. Ooh, that's nice. Let's get a couple of cat-cows in. Inhale, the chest forward, chin up, and tip your tailbone, almost like you're going to wag your little tail. Inhale. And then exhale, tuck the chin, curve the spine, the full length of the spine, and curve the hips. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Really focus on getting the full length of the spine in these. Inhale forward, tip the hips, lift the chin, chest forward. Exhale, tuck the chin, curve the spine, tuck the tail down. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And back to neutral. And then we'll move into a couple of torso twists. You can go right side direction, whichever direction works for you. Move your entire torso. See if you can get your rib cage moving, your hips moving, even your shoulders moving. Get the entire torso twisting in one direction. Full movement of the spine. And then switch directions and let's go the other way. Full movement of the spine. That's so lovely. Come back to center. And extend the right leg. Without support if you can. If you need support, hold on, underlace your fingers under your thigh. I'm going to go without support here. Point your toe and flex. You guys can't see me on TikTok. You can't see the feet on TikTok. Point the toe and flex. Point the toe and flex. Point the toe and flex. Long extended spine. Point the toe and flex. And then release the leg, just resting the heel, keeping the foot flexed. Rest the heel on the ground for a half Hanumanasana, half splits. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold down to your half splits. If you can reach for your toes, if you can reach for your foot or your ankle or your shin, whatever's available to you. Take a couple of breaths here, feeling that stretch in the hip, in the back of the leg, in the thigh, wherever you got it. I can feel it in my knee. Keep that foot flexed as you bend forward. Inhale, one more big deep breath. And exhale to slowly roll up. Bring the right leg back up and left leg out. Point the toe. Again, you can support it with your interlace your fingers between underneath your thigh, or keep it extended without support. Point, flex, point, flex, long spine, point, flex, relax the shoulders, point, flex, point, flex. Gently release the foot, keeping it flexed to touch the heel to the floor. Lengthen the spine again. And exhale to forward fold, reaching for your shin, your ankle, your knee, your toes, whatever you can reach for. You can support your body on your bended knee, or you can drop inside the bended knee for a deeper stretch. Couple of deep breaths here. Two more. Last one. Inhale. And exhale to slowly roll up. Extend both legs. Flex both feet. Inhale again. Lengthen the spine. Keeping the feet flexed. Walk yourself all the way down into whatever forward fold is available to you today. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Inhale, last one. Exhale, slowly roll back up. Walk your feet back up so that your knees are at a 90-degree angle above your ankles. Feet shoulder width apart. Interlace your fingers underneath your right thigh. Inhale to pull the knee up to the chest as close as you can. Squeeze it in. And exhale to kiss the knee. Bend down and kiss the knee. Inhale back up. And exhale to cross the right leg over the left. Release your fingers. And we're going to move into eagle arms. So with eagle arms, just match the crossing of your legs. Right now we have the left leg underneath the right leg. So bring your arms out, extend your arms, place your left elbow underneath your right elbow. Bend at the elbows and then see if you can touch the palms together. Eagle arms. Keep these here at your gaze, at your eye level. Inhale, big deep breath. Exhale. Inhale, lift the elbows into a slight back bend, looking up towards the ceiling. Deep breath. And exhale, curving the spine, tucking the elbows and the chin. One more. Inhale up into your back bend. And exhale down. Inhale back up to neutral, release the arms, release the legs, and we're going to go for the other side. Interlace your fingers underneath your left thigh. Inhale the left thigh up and give it a squeeze. Exhale, kiss the knee. Inhale back up. Exhale, cross the left leg over the right. We'll go slow for those of us. I still sometimes get it crossed and mixed up. So you've got your left leg over the right. And now we're going to go for eagle arms, matching our legs. Extend both arms. Bring your right arm, elbow, underneath your left elbow. Bend at the elbows and see if you can bring the palms to touch as best you can. Keep your thumbs at about eye level. Straighten out your, I was twisted here, so bring your knees in front of you if you're a little bit off. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, little back bend, looking up, lifting in the elbows. Exhale, curve in just a little bit. Inhale again, bigger back bend this time. Lift in the elbows. Lift the chin, arch the back, and exhale, curving all the way down. Inhale to release. Release the arms, release the legs. Heel toe your legs open for goddess pose. Arms out into cactus, palms wide, facing forward. Open the knees and turn the toes so they are facing out, not facing forward. Turn the toes out. Arms up. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Stop halfway. Keep your arms in cactus pose. Hold here for 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Focus on using the abdomen and the thighs rather than the low back. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Release the arms into a forward fold. Inhale. Extend the back. Lengthen the spine. Exhale. Forward fold. Inhale, twist, lifting the right arm, twisting towards the right, reaching up and gazing overhead. Big deep breath. And exhale to release. Left arm, inhale, lift the left arm all the way up overhead, gaze overhead, big deep breath. And exhale, back down. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to slowly roll up. We're going to do a couple more poses here. We're going to go for the right side. Warrior 2. How do we do Warrior 2 in a chair? So from here, take your left leg. If you've got the room, extend it. Limited space, exactly, Vada. Extend your left leg if you have the space for it. Heel toe your knee a little closer into your chair, again, if you have the room for it. So what you're doing is you're keeping your right hip, the right butt cheek, on your chair, allowing the rest of the hips and the legs to drop open into Warrior 2. So extend your arms out, right arm in front, left arm behind, gaze towards those front fingers. Inhale, reverse warrior. Drop the back arm to the thigh, lift with the right arm and back bend ever so slightly if you've got it available. Exhale, extended side angle. Drop the front right arm, right elbow to the front thigh and bring the left arm up overhead, reaching towards the front. Inhale, lifting the torso and turning, lifting both arms for Warrior 1. Take a deep breath here. One more, inhale. Exhale to release. Bring the heel toe the knees back together into goddess pose. We're going to go back to goddess pose to reposition again. Find the edge of your seat. Nice big goddess pose, arms into cactus. And then go ahead and extend that right leg this time back behind you for a warrior two. Heel toe your front leg open so you can lean onto your chair, lean onto your seat, while the rest of your legs and hips are open in warrior two. Extend the arms out, left arm in front, right arm behind. Torso turn toward the side, gazing over your front hip fingers. Inhale, reverse warrior, drop the right arm, left overhead, reaching behind for that slight back bend. And exhale to drop the elbow, left elbow to the front knee, right arm overhead, extended side angle. And then lift the torso, lift the arms, and lift the back heel to turn into warrior one. Deep breath. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and release and heel toe back to center. Bring the knees all the way together. Last pose before we sit with our mudra. We're gonna move into chair pose. If it's not available to you, then just stay here and rest. You can go ahead and grab your mudra. If you're familiar with the mudra, you can already grab the mudra. We are going to move into chair pose. You have a choice. You can bring your arms up all the way, extended, and lift out of your chair this way. You can bring them here to your heart, anchoring them to your chest. If you want to return to eagle arms, you can do that as well. I am going to go ahead and go full arms extended up overhead. Ground your feet. Bring your knees together. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Lift on the next inhale and hold chair. Focus the abdomen. Focus the thighs. Just hover above your seat. As close to your seat as you can get without touching your seat. Couple more breaths. Exhale to release. Windshield wiper the knees. Relax the arms. We're going to do that 2 more times. Back to center. Feet, knees together. Choose your arm position. For me, it's arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to lift. And hold. Hover above your chair. Focus the abdomen and the thighs. See if you can still wiggle your toes. Not too much pressure in your toes. Not too much weight in your toes. Sit back on your heels. Keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale to release. Release the arms. Windshield wiper the knees. Don't you be plopping back down in your chair, my friends. Last one. See if you can lower yourself real slow to that seat, okay? Last one. Back to neutral. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Shit, okay. Take a deep breath in. Choose your arm position for your chair pose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to lift and hold. Dang, I'm real far from my chair, aren't I? Breathe. Long neck, long arms. Keeping the weight in your heels, not in your toes. Keep breathing. Last one. Inhale. Slowly exhale. And shake it out. Shake it out your arms, shake it out your legs. And we're going to sit with our mudra one last time for the last 5 minutes. Remember, when we started class, we sat with our mudra and listened to our inner space. Now that we have done this flow, I would like to revisit that inner space. I want to see what that sounds like now. So, the mudra for this week is the Shanka Mudra and is done like so. Left hand, thumbs up. Right hand, wrap your palm around your left thumb. Bring the left fingers up over the fist. Touch your right thumb to the tips of your left fingers. If you can't get them all touching, that's okay. Get as close as you can to all the fingers of the left hand touching the thumb of the right. So the inside of your mudra will look like this. You've got your thumb tucked inside your right hand and your fingers and thumb touching over top. Okay? The Shanka Mudra translates to conch shell. This is the mudra for mystery. Once you've got your mudra, I invite you to sit with me for just 5 more minutes as we listen to our inner space. Go ahead and close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths to settle in. Go ahead and just take them at your own pace, making sure to pull the breath into the lungs, into the belly, expand the rib cage. Be intentional about the big, deep breaths. Exhaling any tension. Once you've completed your 3 deep breaths, go ahead and seal the lips and allow the breath to settle into a comfortable rhythm. Doesn't even have to be a long rhythm. You don't have to extend the breath. Don't try to change it. Just allow the breath to settle. As we sit in this space, allow everything in the breath, in the body, in the mind to rise and fall with the same rhythm that your heart rises and falls on your breath. Mudra, rising and falling with your heart. Thoughts, rising and falling with your heart. Sensations, rising and falling. Emotions, worries, all of it, rising and falling away. And just listen. Listen beyond the thoughts. Listen beyond the body. Listen beyond the breath. Reaching into the depths of our inner landscape, of the mystery within. Go ahead and breathe and just listen. Inhaling the intention to just listen. Exhaling any tension in the body, in the breath, in the being. Keep breathing. Stay with the breath. Stay with the expansiveness, the open space within. Like listening for a sound somewhere deep, far away in the universe. Reach your hearing within. stay here with this part of the practice as long as you would like. I encourage you to do so. When you feel complete, I invite you to offer a gentle smile to your heart space, to whatever sounds you heard within, whatever things you heard within, witnessed within your inner landscape. Just offer gratitude. Go ahead and release your mudra. Bring your hands to prayer, or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice, in gratitude for the divine prana that flows through absolutely everything in the universe, flowing through the path of least resistance always to bring you to your highest good in every moment. Trust that you are connected and you will remain so. Offer yourself some gratitude for taking this time for self-care today. I am so fucking proud of you, and I hope you feel it too. Thank you for joining me for class and helping me cultivate this CAYA space where we can learn and grow and thrive together. I love you guys so much. When you are ready to fully come out of your meditation, please do so slowly, only opening your eyes when you're absolutely certain that this is the layer of reality that you want to come back to. Too late. Too late. They're open. Hi, friends. Wow. How can we ever be sure? Oh, which reality you're going back to? You're very welcome, guys. Oh, sorry, Vada. Yeah, I'm glad that you were here today. That this is the desired reality. I'm not sure. I don't think we can ever be sure. Maybe you can be sure. I don't know. Half the time I'm not sure. Hi, guys. Teach so much and wake up feeling like I've never moved, right? Vada, were you in here, or did you see in the Discord I was talking about tummy? Do you use tummy as a teacher? Anybody else who's a yoga teacher, do you guys use tummy? Have you heard of tummy? You're very welcome, Leb. Guys, remember that there is, the replay is on YouTube, okay? I am Move with Change on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, obviously TikTok, and all the places you hang out. I also have a Linktree and a Patreon. I'm also Move with Change there as well. But replays for my classes go into YouTube, and they stay there for about a week, so you can go watch the replays. However, I just today, this week, decided to start using Tummy again to help plan my flows. So each week I will put a flow from Tummy into the Discord. The Discord is free to join. Welcome, Mustang Love. The Discord is free to join. The link is in my Linktree. There are memberships available if you want to join us for group coaching or to work directly with me with one-on-one coaching and things like that. We can discuss those if you'd like to, but the point here is to share the information. The point here is to make sure that these practices are accessible and available to you. Because knowledge is power. And the tools that we work with in this space are the kind that bring you a sense of autonomy, of authenticity, of inner peace that I haven't found elsewhere. So that's why I teach these for free. What's Tummy? So it's Tummee, and it's actually a platform for building yoga flows, and they have all these cool features of it, and you can check it out because I put the flow via link into the Discord, and I have a referral link if you want to get yourself one as a teacher. I highly recommend it because it's so fucking cool and so easy, and you can make flows and send them to people and like set up cues and how long it'll take and all of that stuff. I'll give you a tour. I'll give you a tour if you really want it. But check out the link in the Discord to see the flow. Micah, how was, I saw you. Head feels a little better already. Good. Eagle arms with the legs crossed. It's one of my favorite things to do in chair, right? Chair pose and eagle eagle chair are some of my favorites. That was releasing trapped-ish. Goddess poses are my favorite. I like to do the warriors, right? It's really amazing how much you can actually get from a chair yoga flow. And you guys, for those of you who've been around for a little bit, right? There's some of my flows will be less quick. We spend a little bit more time in some of the poses, but I really needed some like major, big, full extension movement in my tiny space. So that's what this one came out of. If I didn't teach and move, I'd be one stiff bone, literally, yeah. Movements and mindfulness is the only reason I still walk on earth with y'all. Yep. Same here, my friend. Same here. Not just in body, but in being, in breath, in heart, in mind, right? These practices. There's a reason I made a commitment to the 8 limbs of yoga a couple years ago. A good almost 10 years after I became a reverend. Because the tools herein... Homework break! Mustang Love took a homework break. Nice. Benny from the block. You think truckers would very much benefit from this? I agree. I agree. That's why I'm online. Send it to your trucker friends. This is the song that reminds me of my trucker hat that I used to wear not to block out the sun, with the John Deere logo and a stain on the back. Brian, neuropathy in feet and both hips, replacing. Still grateful. One for that one is the half splits, the Hanumanasana, half Hanumanasana that we did. This one here. Right? Try that whole flow. Bring the truckers. Bring on the truckers. Try this whole flow, Brian, for that. You can support your thigh. Do that, point flex, point flex, point flex several times. And then flex, release, and bend in that forward fold here. If you can get lower on a yoga mat for it too, this is also just a really nice one in general when you get a nice pull. The intention here in this pose, if you really want to get into it, is to create a little bit of traction underneath the heel so that it actually helps get that extension, because you're reaching through the bottom of the foot, reaching this way, right? When you're stretching, when we're extending in yoga, we're reaching through both ends. So I'm reaching, flexing my foot, reaching out from the heel. And then as I bend forward, I'm reaching back with my hips and with my spine. So I'm intentionally creating this elongation more than just leaning into a stretch. I'm intentionally pulling with the leg itself, right? Intentionally pulling from the leg, using the heel to drag a little bit of traction on the ground. Full extending through the spine. And then down into that fold. And when you get there, then you're going to be here in the low back, into the hips, into the back of the leg, into the full extension of the leg and the back of the knee. I've got knee issues, and the half Hanumanasana really, really, really does wonders for my knees. Got the mudra down. It's called the Shanka Mudra. Vada, feel free to stream. Feel free to just stream replays. You can do it. You can have my replays. Go for it. Shanka, S-H-A-N-K-H-A. Hanumanamana. That's the half Hanumanasana. Stuff tough. We were talking about Hanuman the other day, and Hanuman, the Hanumanasana is the splits, because the story of Hanuman, where he jumps across this huge body of water, doesn't even realize he has the power to do so, and so he goes and does these like splits, and wow. Hanumanasana is accidentally... No, we were talking about Ganesh the other day. Not Hanuman. But Hanuman is the accidental, right, warrior, the accidental hero, because he forgets all of these boons, all of these skills, all of these powers that he has. And so he goes about kind of ignorantly and then accidentally uses these things repeatedly. So, but the Hanumanasana is the splits. So that's half Hanumanasana, but it's named after Hanuman. That's what I was saying. Hanumana, Hanumana. Brian, you're turtle slow? That's okay. You know, one of my favorite pastimes around here is we do slow races. The last person to finish is the person who wins, right? And we do them in these like little short stints. So you got to move really super slow. Yeah, those are my faves. Those are my faves. Oh. The other thing too, though, Vada, about tummy is that, or for anybody else who teaches yoga and wants to use the platform to do so, tummy also gives you, it's got a whole library of poses, and you can request new poses. It also has meditations and Sanskrit stuff. And back to homework, Mustang Love. I hope you come join us in the Discord so we can get to know you more. We're a fun little community, lots of shenanigans. Lots of shenanigans, but lots of really, really helpful tools. So, and to you as well, my friend. Love and light. The app Insight Timer is good too. I think I've tried Spirit Wanders. I think I've tried Insight Timer, but I don't know why. It actually sits on my phone, so I know I have it, but for some reason it doesn't appeal to me. Beth will have to show you. Perfect. Yay! I know there's a lot of apps out there that do work for people, and I thoroughly encourage people to find and to share, right, the apps that work for them. We are hopefully crossing my fingers. I'm going to cross my fingers because this is really, 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 like, I would really love to do this project, and I keep talking about it, hoping to manifest it further into reality. I am looking for a developer to help me build a mindfulness app that rewards you for do your mindfulness, and it's set up a little bit like an RPG game so that it's a more of a journey that you go on through your mindfulness practices. It will have a library of tools from pranayama to mudras to yoga to all kinds of stuff like that. It will have this cool piece that we were talking about the other day, is that it has a emergency button. Like, I want to create this app so that when you poke the app, if you are in an state of anxiety or having another, or like in a depressive mood or something like that, and you need something now, then you can press this button on this app and it'll give you an immediate practice. You can be like, you know, anxiety, depression, or whatever, and it'll give you an immediate practice so you don't have to go through the app. But when you're not in that space, you can go and explore the app like a Zelda Link sort of journey, or any of the other RPG game kind of things, where we actually cultivate a relationship with our inner landscape through the use of the app. I'm really, like I said, I need a developer. If anybody knows someone with these skills, especially if this is somebody that would be interested in this kind of material as well, obviously I'd like to build it with somebody who's really excited about building it, because it puts that energy into the thing. But that one day will be our platform. I'm hoping to be able to create that and put classes and everything in there so that people aren't jumping from socials to Discord to Patreon to wherever to YouTube to, I'd rather have it all in a nice encapsulated space. We can make it with Unity, the software. Tell me more. Anybody who has any info that might get us any further along this path of creating this RPG mindfulness games. I also discovered last year how to create a community coin. It's like a Bitcoin, but it's just for the app itself. And from my understanding, the more we use that coin within our community, eventually we can actually start to trade that coin based on value within the community to other communities, and in this way actually build it into a viable market coin. Thank you, friend. Have I heard of Mighty Networks? Yes, Maggie. So I spent several months last year on Mighty Networks, building similar community with a couple other people. And while I like Mighty Networks as a platform, as far as the actual use of it, we were on it for, I think I was on it for a full year probably with them. It wasn't really conducive to, like, it was just really busy. Billy, are you still in here? Or anybody who was with that community last year with me? Mighty Networks is just a lot. It's busy and people were really struggling. The biggest complaint I heard from our community members was, I don't know how to get around. I don't know how to find anything. I'm missing things. I don't know where that is. I don't even know how to find my, what have you. So it is a great platform and I really liked some of the features they had, but it's not my choice for a platform for this. I am looking at other community platforms in the meantime, in the interim, before we build the app. And there's other ones like Heartbeat is one of them. Circle and Disco are a couple that I've been looking at. I think there's another one as well. School, Skool. Yeah, so I'm comparing features right now, but all of those are apps that cost a good bit. I mean, Mighty Networks, for the one that has a good level of functioning, you're talking about, $50 a month for that, $50-$60 a month for that. They have a $30 level too, but they also have the other levels to make sure you can maintain that kind of community with pay gates and all that stuff. And I'm not at a place where I'm interested in paying hundreds of dollars collectively with all the apps that I'm using to do this stuff until that we have a community that can support that, right? It wouldn't be wise of me to be shelling out hundreds of dollars per month on all the platforms when we're just building community. So we're doing it in stages. That's why I offer the classes for free on several channels. I am pretty much always live on YouTube and TikTok. TikTok has been actively fighting my content, so at some point I might not be able to go live again on here. I do have a backup account. It's Move with Change 2. You can go follow that one, and I'll be able to do that later on if that happens. But right now I've also been live on Instagram. If you'd like to see me somewhere else, let me know. If there's somewhere else you hang out that you'd rather see the classes, let me know. Heartbeat meditation is cool. You can feel your heartbeat in your left hand. There are so many different types of meditation. It's what I love, and that's why I teach mindfulness, right, in here. Because there are walking meditations, breathing meditations, silent meditations, dancing meditations, mantra meditations, eyes open meditations, eyes closed meditations, dream journey, astral projection kind of meditations, right? There are so many ways that you can, or just like one school of meditation, like transcendental meditation, right? That is its type of meditation. So I always find it really interesting when people say, I can't meditate. And I say that from a position of being somebody who used to also say, I can't meditate. Because I couldn't get the perfect silent brain, right? And I thought that's what meditation was, right? That's what meditation is to sit and be at peace and quiet in your body and your mind, right? That's the goal. That's what I was taught, and that's what a lot of people are also taught. Dishwasher meditation? Fuck yes, that's a meditation. It's actually the way I get my dishes done, right? It's hard to do much without breathing. However, there are some breath-holding meditations, breath retention meditations, where we use bandhas, locks, root lock, core lock, throat lock, where we hold the breath, retain the breath as part of the practice. Those are cool because those also kick the brain into the lower instincts of those meditations are intended to express the breath and leave the breath out as an experiment or as an experience of end of life or having no breath. And so these meditations can be quite triggering. Sensory deprivation, yeah. So these meditations can be quite triggering. I encourage you that if you are new to meditation, don't start with breath retention, start with breath balance. So actually, at the very beginning of this class, somebody asked about how do they, I forget what it was with the breath, balance the breath or improve the breath. I forget exactly what the question was. But my suggestion for that is always Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing. It's one of the simplest practices, and it doesn't start with breath retention, but as you practice it, you can add breath retention. And I really like it because, again, it works on the solar and lunar energy channels in the body. They're called the nadis, the Ida and the Pingala, or the right is the Pingala, the Ida is the lunar. So, alternate nostril breathing, there are 2 mudras you can use with this. I've had some experience not breathing, right? I think we all do, but when you do it intentionally, it's a whole nother thing. So, Gleb only in court, you guys. Okay, here are the mudras that we use for Nadi Shodhana, for alternate nostril breathing. You can use the Shanmukhi Mudra, which is simply leave your thumb and your last 2 fingers on your right hand extended. Traditionally, this is done with your right hand. However, as always, I encourage you to cultivate a little bit of shenanigans and try things if you feel like doing it with your left hand. There are times where I really, really prefer doing this with my left hand. The other hand position is just the opposite of this, where instead of tucking in the pointer and the middle finger, you extend the pointer in the middle, keeping these, your thumb and your last 2 fingers towards the inside. You're going to use these 2 fingers to close your nostrils. Whether these fingers are curled in or up, these are your fingers that are going to close your nostrils. So if you got them down, you close the nostrils this way, inhaling, closing the right nostril, inhaling through the left. Exhale, switch, and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Switch, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. So, you can go with that rhythm as long as you would like to. It's really, really, really good. If you want to get close to quieting the mind and the body, sit with that for as long as you can. You will feel a shift. It does work on the physiological body to do that stuff with the breath. Remember that when my emotional state changes, my breath changes with it. So the opposite is true. When I change my breath, I can also change my physiological state, because emotions are a physiological experience, right? As well as a mental experience, but they are a physiological experience too. We got to make sure that we pay attention to both sides of that. So the other way we use the other mudra is that you place your pointer and your middle finger at your third eye. Holding it here, you use the thumb to close the right, and the ring finger to close the left. Inhale through the right, switch, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, switch, exhale. So for me, it just depends. It depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I like this one a lot better. I usually use this one. And word to the wise, if you have a mala or a beaded necklace, preferably a mala because of the number of beads, my favorite way to practice Nadi Shodhana is with a mala, is with beads. Because doing so, I count each breath on a bead. Try not to let this touch the floor. So, if I'm doing my practice here, inhale, 1 bead. Switch, exhale, next bead. Inhale, next bead. Switch, exhale, next bead. Inhale, next bead. Switch, exhale, next bead. Inhaling and exhaling only through the nose. When we do this, about that pace, I mean, I do it probably a little bit slower when I'm doing it on my own. It takes about 20 minutes, give or take. That's a really, really good pranayama practice. If you've got a mala that where you've got a midpoint bead, you should always have your guru bead on your mala, but if you've got a bigger midpoint bead or something else that marks it, you can also do half of that, knowing you'll get about a 10-minute practice. This just helps, instead of looking at a clock, instead of setting a timer that's going to jostle me, jolt me out of the practice, this is a really nice way to keep track, to keep pace of the practice. I also find, having a busy mind, that it helps to wiggle the beads as I'm breathing. You can also add a mental mantra. Remember, these are all tools. If I can close my eyes and just find my inner balance and quiet peace without any of these tools, then fantastic. But most of the time, I need some kind of tool to help me get into that space. And some days when the mind and the body are really busy and really protesting, I need several tools. Do I sell the beads? I do make custom malas, but they are by request only, and the price is set based on the materials. So, yes, I do make custom malas and sell custom malas. I do not have them listed anywhere because I don't just sell them bulk. I'd rather put the energy into them. I'd rather do them with intention. I'd rather do them for someone specifically. Time can indeed be very jolting. It does. It is, especially when you get those reminders about it. So, foundational breathwork practice. Again, word to the wise, when you are using your mala, when you are using your beads, we try not to use the pointer finger on the beads. You want to use the middle finger and the thumb to count the beads, because the pointer finger is the element of air in the body, and the element of air can cause mental busyness, right? And when we are trying to calm our space, our mental state, our breath and whatnot, we don't want to add that air to our practice. It adds air to the energy of your mala as well. So if you can do your best to keep your pointer finger off your mala, you're going to help it stay you're going to help improve its usefulness, right? Because you make sure that you cultivate a really nice soothing energy in here. The middle is the finger that represents, or that for the spirit or ether element in the body. So it's like skipping through the mental chaos and dipping right down into spirit. Vata, me too. So I'm also an air dosha and have an air sign for a rising sign. So this is actually really important to me. When I learned this piece, it totally changed my practice. I was using malas before without the knowledge of that. And I was using my finger, like that. And I was doing the practices. I can tell you that I noticed a difference when I started consistently, because I was consistently using them regularly. When I was consistently using them regularly, that's a double entendre. I was consistently using them. I was using them on a regular basis. It's the same damn thing. Why do you have to say it several times? I don't know. But when I took the air finger out, it really did shift. I know I need help. I'm always in flight or on fire. We can balance you out, my friend. Nadi Shodhana, balance you out. Hi, son. So again, my friends, the replay from today's class is on YouTube. If you'd like access to my replay archives, I do have memberships available for that. I'd prefer, please, if you could go to the Patreon or go directly to Discord, and we can get them through Discord as well. If you do decide to go for a membership here on TikTok, I keep an eye out for them, but please note that the prices on TikTok will change because TikTok takes 60% of what I make on here. Patreon takes like 5 or 6%. Air dosha or vata or pitta. Yes, it's the doshas. The air dosha is vata, pitta is the fire dosha, and kapha is the water dosha. These are three aspects of three stereotypes of the physical self in Ayurvedic medicine, Ayurvedic nutrition, in Ayurveda. There we go. So most people are at least 2 of these, a balance of 2 of these. Some people are all 3. Children are typically have a heavy kapha, especially when they're younger. And your doshas can shift over time too. And when we're looking at nutrition or the body or the being through the doshas, it's really, really beautiful, because instead of just learning what to eat for your blood type, right, or what's good to eat, but you learn specifically what's good for your system, as well as when to eat it and how to eat it. As an air dosha, air and fire, I tend to eat on the run. I'm kind of a bird, like I'll peck snacks all day long, right? And I eat on the run. I'm literally moving around while I'm eating. Turns out that's really bad for an air dosha. That's really bad, because my system's already fast, and by doing that, I'm not giving my digestive system the time it needs to calm down and to digest properly and to assimilate nutrients on as it should. Otherwise, everything just moves really fast, because that's the air dosha. So again, when I started studying Ayurveda and found this, read this, and I was like, oh, okay. So I started sitting down, even just for a couple of minutes around my meals. Even if it was a small snack, I would still sit down. And again, such a big difference. I didn't realize how much indigestion, how much like uncomfortable tummy things were happening when I was running around and eating. It caused all kinds of cramps, all kinds of discomfort, all kinds of gas, all kinds of stuff like that. And then I started just sitting down for my snacks and sitting down for like 5, maybe a couple minutes afterwards. And then I'd get up and go about my day, and boom. Meh. Air and fire. How do you find out about your elements? So there are several websites you can go to and test. You can look up books and whatnot. I highly recommend going to a practitioner if you do have one in your area or have access to one. If not, take several tests online. A practitioner is gonna be better at not diagnosing, at determining your doshas, but you can do so on your own. However, I would just recommend several different tests to get a better sampling, and you're going to get a better idea of what your energy is. Crystal, I adore you. That's not the first time somebody has said that. In fact, so the comment is, you sound and look like that girl from Shameless. When the show Shameless came out, I had not seen it. I was not going to watch it. I'm just not a TV show kind of person. And my bestie of like a decade or so calls me up and she goes, "Holy shit, I found your doppelganger. There's this TV show, you have to watch it." And I was like, "No, I don't want to know. What's wrong with her?" And she was like, No, watch it. And I ended up watching the entire series. I ended up watching the entire thing. Of course, I love the shit out of her. Is it kind of like a personality test, Noah? No, it's a test for the primary or dominant energies in the body. Ayurveda looks at the body through the lens of the elements within it, and it can be represented by 3 different manifestations of those elements as your physiological. Yes, Vada, it was Fiona, that's her name. Yes, son. Son, this is not a time for negotiating this right now, sir. No, it's not important. You can wait to have your vitamins and talk to me about it. If you're concerned about something, you can wait until after class. It's not an emergency. You're not going to die if you don't have your vitamins right now. And it's not worth discussing. Okay, then it's not worth discussing the dosage right now with me while I'm in class. Thank you. Can you, since the AC is on, can you please help close the windows? She was in the Phantom of the Opera movie as well. I don't think I saw that one. Okay, so doshas. That's what we were talking about. Spirit Wanders, you find it interesting because different practitioners determine me as different doshas. So the other thing too, again, is that your doshas can shift. The 3 major energies, the Vata, air, Pitta, fire, and Kapha, water. Again, we are usually a combination of 2, and your doshas can change over time. And your doshas can also be more primary in certain parts of your day as well, because again, we understand this as a dynamic system. It is not a static system. We got to get out of that Western mentality that this is the same every single day. And that's why I love Ayurveda, because it recognizes this is not the same every day, and it's not even the same hour by hour. In fact, within your energy system, right, we were working with alternate nostril breathing. Alternate nostril breathing taps into the solar and lunar energy channels in the system. Balancing. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Is that these energies, so you can use Nadi Shodhana to see this, right? When you do Nadi Shodhana, you will almost always probably see that one side is a little bit more difficult, is a little bit more challenging than the other side. If you try this every hour or so, every 45 minutes or so, you will notice a pattern. You can find a pattern because the energy shifts between your solar and lunar channels. Here's salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. It switches about every 45 minutes. So when I am in the lunar side of my system, there are certain things that are certain activities, certain foods, certain things that happen in my body, in my mind, certain emotions that are triggered and whatnot because I am in this energy. For some of us, like Vada, your explanation here about like my strong coffee's kicking in. About being always either in flight or on fire. That's a big difference between the solar and lunar energies. And ultimately, we want to bring the energy system into, hey, Foxy Mama, into more balance. Does this mean that we won't experience the highs of the really big solar energy? No, not so much. We can absolutely intentionally go into these spaces, but instead of being pulled like a fucking pendulum, way swinging back and forth between these highs and lows of energy, these push and pull, these huge manifestations and deteriorations of energy. When you find yourself in any of those extremes, I encourage you to just grab Nadi Shodhana for a couple of minutes. And do so until your breath does this, like, a really good sign of the nervous system calming down is when you're breathing is to get that, like, spontaneous deep breath or yawn. I seek the calm and slow space, but where it feels expansive, precisely. It should maintain that expansiveness, right? Because that's what the calm and slow space is it is expansive. Fast and hurried is a contractive, right? Is a static kind of energy. Calm is an open, expansive energy. To maintain that would be winning at life for me. And we're not static systems. I didn't say maintain. I didn't say maintain. In fact, one of the best things that we can do for our systems is to keep it dynamic. I discovered this really interesting thing, so you guys know that I have 20 years of education and experience in the field of human development and wellness. And one of the things that they talk about a lot is that the human brain and body like routine, that they want routine, that they benefit and thrive in routine. But here's the thing. Then I went and studied gerontology and end of life and psychology at the end of life and whatnot, and it turns out that when the life has been spent in habitual nature, it lends itself toward mental decline later in life. And in working with children, I found that when we broke the routines that those children were in, they made big leaps and bounds in their development. Oftentimes, the breaking of the pattern or the habit or the routine was the thing that got the child out of the stuck something. This is what I mean when I talk about how the system manipulates us. Again, we don't have to devolve into blaming or shaming or, saying it's nefarious or anybody's job that who did it. What's available right now is information that leads us away from our truth, is practices and structures that lead us away from our truth, even in our very textbooks, even in our very understanding, right? The things we take for granted about our understanding of psychology and development and whatnot. If you just study child development, there would be no reason to question that children thrive on routine. If you just study gerontology, psychology, and psychological mental wellness at the end of life, you would see, you would just, you wouldn't think about children needing routine. You'd think, oh, I've got to make sure my elder has a dynamic routine, make sure to mix things up for them. But we rarely cross that gap and go, wait a minute, what if we tried this in childhood? Allowed them to live within an authentic, dynamic, safe container, not a narrow hallway of you wake up and you do this and you follow this, and if you do not follow these things, then sit down and shut up and do what we say and repeat the information back to us. Well, but instead, the space to shift and move and to be true in our expression of our energy, because our energy is not static. It does not fit into this tiny little narrow hallway, and trying to do that with our energy is what ends up compartmentalizing us, what ends up putting us in a perpetual state of imbalance, because creation is expansive. Everything in the universe is expanding. The Fibonacci sequence, right? We are growing, we are expanding, we are evolving, individually, collectively. And yet the systems we operate within, are doing this. Our energy wants to do this. So without blaming anybody, again, without saying, oh, it's nefarious, oh, it's a mind control game, oh, they're trying to whatever, we can step way back and just say, that system's not for me. My system's natural impetus is to grow and expand and to learn and evolve and to meet the world with curiosity and willingness, because that affords me the opportunity for growth and discovery, for experience. Curiosity and willingness affords me the opportunity for experience. And experience is why I'm here. Regal Poison, I was just thinking earlier today about how I like both variety but also predictability. So can we cultivate predictability while still having variety? 100%, right? This is actually what we do with self-care. When we look at self-care as a predictable, dynamic opportunity for ourselves, it opens up a whole new world of stuff, right? Of availability, of energy, of opportunity for experience, and opportunity to meet the self where we're at. So you guys know, if you've been in here for a while, my favorite thing to suggest is making a commitment. What does that predictability look like in self-care? For me, it came through making a commitment to being with myself for at least X amount of time every day. I started with 15 minutes, but now I even suggest start with 5. Start with 3. But do it every day. 5 minutes every single day. Because today is all you have. You should never put self-care on the back burner. I was just talking to my son the other day about this. We were talking about, the future is an opportunity. The past is just a memory. So now is all I have. So what am I going to do every day? What are the important things to do every day we were talking about? What are the important things to do? Take care of myself. Every single day, I'm going to renew my commitment to loving myself, to holding space for myself, for listening to my body, my emotions, my guides, right? To cultivating authenticity within myself so that I can manifest it out into my world. That's a pretty good thing to do every day, right? That's important. In fact, it's foundational. As I've been working with my 8-year-old on chores, we have had to step back from the traditional parenting kind of thing where I want to say, here's your list of chores and I'll give you rewards for when they're done. Instead, we looked at what is the most important thing every day. Taking care of yourself. And that's what I forgot this morning. Thank you for the reminder. You still have all day, Leb. That's the thing. You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening, you can do it in the middle of the day. Doesn't matter when. You can do it at different points during the day. But this is where you cultivate the predictability. That's a commitment. And that's how we build trust. Brene Brown has a beautiful talk about building trust. And she actually says in her talk that she expected trust to be built in these huge moments, the way we show up for each other when we're really needing each other. And she said the most exciting thing about doing that study was that it was in the small moments. It was little things, right? It was little things that actually built trust. Far more. Who do you trust? The person who's only shows up when there's a big emergency to come in and be your white knight? Or do you trust the person who's consistently there even though when you don't need them? That's who you can be for yourself. That's the relationship we cultivate with ourselves. I don't have any control over anybody outside of me or anything outside of me. And the world's not going to stop for me to be peaceful and quiet and to practice my yoga. I can't. There's a lot that I don't have control over. But the one thing that only I have is me. Every part of me. I can share a lot of me with other people. But there are parts of me no one else will ever see and ever meet. And those are the parts that need me the most. Because if I'm not there for them or with them, who is going to be? And if I don't know the feeling of loving myself or forgiving myself or trusting myself, how am I going to experience that from somebody outside of me? That's a further separation from it. And again, talking about the structures that manipulate us, not with intention, maybe you're not, we don't have to go there, but all these stories about relationships and love and how it's supposed to go are misguided, are exemplifying the imbalances in our relationships rather than teaching us to find the balance in our relationships or the authenticity in our relationships. The big stories we have in all of our media and our songs and all this stuff is about the pain, the push and pull. Keep lying to me. Just keep lying to me. Don't go fucking with my fantasy. And we want to live in that world. We want to live in this world of energetic push and pull, of fight or flight, of harrowing experiences and highs of physiological responses. I'm sure, I know it's fun. I know it's fun to ride the roller coaster. But the roller coaster is a finite experience. You get on, you go through it, and you get off. If you were on it your entire life, you'd end up feeling fucking sick. Like, at some point, you go, oh. We create space for those moments of pause, for the, you don't turn nothing down. What's that, Michael? You don't turn nothing down. You don't turn any opportunity down for those kinds of experiences. I've had those kinds of relationships. And I can tell you that those relationships, Mercy, thank you, I love you. Glad you're here, friend. Those kinds of relationships are born out of my own imbalances. They're born out of my inability to spend time with myself, or my just choice not to cultivate a relationship with myself. We talk in here a lot about the energy body. I've been working with it since I was a kid. So the manifestations of these relationships look like this. In my growth development process, right? If I have learned to develop a very big heart chakra, I'm the perpetual caretaker, the empath, right? The martyr for everyone else's issues. I used to say that my biggest flaw is everyone else's boon, because with this big open heart chakra, and I'm sure people will relate, I did everything I could for other people. And that meant that my self-care was the last thing on my to-do list, and often the first thing that I crossed off my list during the day. Oh well, I didn't get to me. What did I attract? What do you think this huge open heart chakra, beaming this beautiful green heart energy, love, compassion, pushing that energy out there, what do you think I'm attracting when I have a big open screaming heart? The deficient heart, the longing, the pulling, the succubus, the energy vampire who says, I can't love me, but if you love me, then I'll feel better about myself. Will you please love me? Please love me. 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 What is this? Pulling energy from somebody else's finite field. Remember that we live in a finite field of energy. Your heart is the thing that creates that torus of field around you, right? It generates a finite energy field. My body is finite. My breath is finite. My heartbeat is finite. My emotions are finite. My thoughts are finite. My experiences in this finite reality are finite. So when I am engaged in a kind of relationship, now all of our relationships, all of our interactions are going to have an energetic kind of exchange. What I am talking about is codependency. What I am talking about is an imbalance that makes us yearn, pull, attach ourselves to situations that are unhealthy for us. Why? Because they temporarily satisfy a need. Social media works super well at putting energy into our solar plexus. Poor energy, manipulated, shitty energy, like really shitty fuel for our systems, but it boosts our confidence temporarily. So temporarily that we have to obsess and keep engaging with it again and again and again and again and again. In fact, social media is designed to keep you in that system, keep you hungry for the external validation that you receive through it. What is that doing? Boosting your solar plexus. So we must be aware of our systems and the state of our systems, because the state of my system is going to influence how I interact with and respond and react to the external stimuli as well as the internal stimuli that comes up. If I have a very big, open solar plexus, a high need for control, and potentially will use aggression to keep that control. This is a lack of self-esteem and a high need for control. So what am I going to attract? I'm going to attract people with a deficient solar plexus because they are much easier to control. In fact, they're primed for me with a huge solar plexus to control them. This is why it's important to be aware of our systems, and also how we can look around in our lives and say, oh, that might be this imbalance. We can do both ways, right? The external world is a mirror for the internal world and vice versa. So depending on what you're familiar with, if you can get into the energy system and you can feel it happening in these different ways, great. If you are not within the energy system and then you look outside of yourself and you go, wow, I keep attracting people who take from me. How many times, and of course I've said it before too, but I'm hearing it even more now as well. People saying, I give and I give and I give and I don't get back. I don't get anything back. And I don't give to get something back. I'm not trying to do it selfishly, but at some point, what the fuck, right? How many of us are in that state of, I have been giving, almost martyrly so. When do I receive? The system is designed to teach you to give so it can use your resources. Your energy, your time, your attention, your money. It is not designed to help you find balance. It says push everything external. Don't worry about the inside. Go to a psychologist occasionally for that. Maybe take some medications if it feels imbalanced on the inside. Just forward. Put it out and put it forward. Don't look within. Because if we were to look within, we would find the imbalances that are leading us astray, that are keeping us stuck in the cycles of imbalance. And the system relies on you staying out of balance, because when you are out of balance, you are easier to harvest from. You are easier to manipulate. You buy the bullshit now, you know, because you're not present and aware of the reasons why your system is going for that. You try to change a habit like smoking or drinking or something you eat, or I don't know, some other habit or whatever. You try to change it, and we try to change it here. We think, oh, I'll just force myself not to do the thing or to do the thing. You're fighting the brain. And the brain is actually really fucking strong. And it's really hard to fight the brain. But when we address it on an energetic level, on a physiological level, we create space for something else rather than a perpetuation of the same habitual things. In a world that relies on your willful ignorance, in fact encourages it, the most powerful thing you can do is become familiar with yourself. Because this is the garden where all of the rest of the things outside of us and inside of us are rooted in. This is where we plant the seeds of love, of compassion, of trust, of forgiveness. This one has been on my heart a lot lately because I see, we recognize the system is broken. We recognize the system is out of balance. We recognize the system is leading us away, directly away from our wellness. Yet we maintain an engagement in the system, like trying to fight the system, to change the system that keeps us in the system. And what I want to do is pull everyone back, like just take a step back, step out of the system and into your system. I feel like a lot of times we walk through our lives almost as if we're out of body, like right in front of our bodies. Paying attention to our face and the front of our body and what we look like this way and what we do and what we see and what we feel. And yet there is an entire universe available just behind your eyes. There is an infinite cosmos available, an infinite cosmos of opportunity within you. But we've all been taught to look outside. We've all been taught to square our gaze out here and look for all of our answers and all of our information. No, you can't be your own guru. You have to find a guru. You have to find somebody else to teach you the things, and you have to get the certifications in the way that I decide you should do them. But honestly, the whole process, again, of the system offering certifications. Think about this. Before the system was doing that, some time ago, this is also part of the capitalism thing, right? Some time ago, when people had the impetus to be a healer or a medicine person, right? Or somebody who cooks things, or somebody who helps with the kids, or somebody who goes hunting, or somebody who, right? We naturally gravitated toward our authentic inclinations. When this certification thing, schooling, education, external thing was created, the system of doing so for profit, it opened up the doors for people who don't have that natural inclination towards those things to go and get a certification to do them. The people who have the natural inclination to do those things cannot practice without that certification now. And that's only in some realms, right? So what has it actually done to those industries or those jobs or those parts of our culture, of our communities, right? The person who isn't really good with kids for some reason went and got their teaching certification because that's what they thought they were supposed to do. The person who really should not have been a doctor ended up being a doctor because that's the thing that made the most money. All of these are reasons outside of ourselves. All of these reasons that our culture tells us are appropriate instead of following our truth. Sorry why your dad went and became a psychologist, right? Some of us shouldn't be parents. And that's not a judgment, but actually just some of us are not intended. We don't have that energy. We don't have that genuine, authentic desire to do so. And we should not kowtow to a system that says there is one way or a very narrow sets of ways for everyone. This is control. This is keeping you inside of the box so that you're not paying attention to what's happening inside of you. And again, step back from blame anybody or, or the system itself. Step back even further and just step into self in each moment. If I'm in the grocery store and I want to be authentic, right, in what I eat, I need to step into myself and to notice when some catchy marketing catches my eye. Ooh, I didn't even think I needed those cookies, but now that I see them, that packaging looked really nice. Remember that packaging was designed to skip my prefrontal cortex and trigger my emotional state. It was designed, the commercials, the colors, the wording, all of these things are based in psychology, designed to trick your brain out of examining it, out of logically looking at it, out of making a decision within yourself and instead just making a reaction to knee-jerk. Just buy it. Wait, there are cookies? Maybe. Not here. I don't have any cookies here. I should make some then. A practice that really has helped me a lot is asking myself, is this really for me? Or is it not? Sometimes that's not an easy question to answer, and that's okay. You might not get a clear yes or a clear no. But when we start asking ourselves this question, is it for me? Is it not for me? What comes next? Well, what is for me? Why would it be for me? And that authentic expression, that authentic exploration, that authentic questioning, and genuinely going, no, you know what? Maybe those cookies aren't for me. Instead, I don't know, respond. Buy one, get ones, get you. It's a manipulation. It's psychology. They're using the science of the mind to intentionally trick you. I've been studying marketing manipulation since the 90s, and including the history, right, of how marketing came about the way that it is. I often forget his name. Edward Bernays, is that his name? The father of modern marketing. He is Freud's nephew. Little tidbit, he's Freud's nephew. and he took Freud's early work on baser instincts, on the emotions and the physiological responses to the emotions, and he used it to create marketing. First, it was over in Germany during a particular person's rise to power and then fall from power. But his speeches were written. Bobby Wright. I don't know who Bobby Wright is, Michael. But essentially, that was brought over to the U.S. by the big names, big name owners of all the companies and all the things, right? This was the big sell. We can just manipulate our audience into our consumers, into just being better consumers. We don't even have to convince them why the thing is good or bad. All we have to do is put somebody scantily clad on it with voluptuous lips and make the burger extra juicy, and bam. How many men do you have going through drive-thrus, grabbing their juicy burgers, staying for the duration of the whole commercial? Steven, subliminal advertising, possibly? Definitely. It is subliminal. Some parts of it are. There are even places where they will use scent, like there are these scent dispensers that people will put at the outside of their shops, and I think it's more so in some other countries. I don't think I've seen it here in the U.S. I did see it in France, where you could basically, you smell something that's really pleasant to smell, and it literally makes you turn towards the shop. And you're like, what was that? And you may never find the thing you smelt on the inside of the shop, but it immediately gets you to the shop because it causes a physiological reaction, a physiological response of pleasure. Brian was manipulating at age 4. Smiles got me cookies at that bakery. Well, here's the truth, right? The truth. Those real estate open houses with the cookies, that's the same. But here's the truth. Here's the truth, right? The reality is that we are human beings, and it is completely natural. In fact, it is the basic foundation for how we interact with the external world. We set our intention, we keep our attention on that intention, and we align our actions to get the outcome we want. That's manipulation. The question is are you manipulating the situation for your best benefit, for the benefit of all, or the benefit of someone else, or the benefit of just whoever else? Are you manipulating yourself, the others around you? Are you allowing yourself to be manipulated unconsciously? Most of us are. And that's the crazy thing. Again, I've been studying this since the 90s, so I'm talking from experience of several decades of still being manipulated. You can be aware of it, and it still does the thing, which is why we need our awareness in the moment. Because again, if I'm in the grocery store, I need to be aware that I am literally in the middle of a manipulation field. Thank you, friend. Literally walking into the lion's den. The whole point of this entire store is for me to be a better consumer, for me to spend my money. They intentionally do things like change the aisles around in the grocery store so that you aren't so familiar with everything. Did you know this? They intentionally... I used to work as a quality assessment representative, and I used to go to different stores and pull things that had been expired or recalled, but also help them reorder and rearrange the stores based on psychology, based on where the eyes go when you first walk into a building. Do you know we habitually usually look in certain directions when we move into places, or when we look at a piece of paper, we often first look at the top right corner. When you walk into a space, Notice. Where do you automatically, unconsciously, habitually look? Noah, I'm glad you're here. That's intentional. And they manipulate the products in the store and the outlay of the store intentionally to get you to spend money in different ways. That's why milk and eggs and necessities are always in the back. That's why fruits and vegetables and whatnot are always way off to the side. And that's why they move things around. So that once you become familiar with their store, you're like, okay, now I can just get in and get my shit, right? Nope. They want to redirect you on purpose. And the employees are participating in this. Again, it's totally normal. This is capitalism. Everybody knows it's happening. But the question is how conscious are you of the degree to which you are being manipulated? Meh, this is different, but you only buy green and blue? Interesting. Like products, green and blue? Even the way that they paint the walls in certain restaurants. Like some restaurants obviously will they'll just paint it how they want to paint it. But something like McDonald's, do you know why the colors are those bright yellow and red? They're quickening. You're not intended to sit there for hours and have a leisurely meal. You're meant to go in and out. It's fast food. So they choose colors. Fast colors. These are intentional manipulations. Meh. Yep. Okay, so toothpaste, drinks, grooming, gotta be a cool color or you won't buy. So that, my friend, is an indication of being manipulated, right? You're not even going for the product. I mean, I don't know the entirely, right? But from that statement, you're going for the product only because of the packaging. That's classic manipulation. When my son was little and we would go through the grocery store, maybe 2 or 3, right? He started, hey Star Muse, he started to want to pick out stuff, right? So he's at the lower ends of the shelves. So he would see the brightly colored cereal boxes and the yogurt cups with superheroes on them. All of the kids' stuff is intentionally put down low with the bright colors and the characters on them because it gets the kids' attention, and then the kids can, push and pull for it from their parents. The parents are going to ignore it if it's up here, and the kids aren't going to say shit if it's up on the top. So they intentionally put it down below. This is how much manipulation, how much intentional manipulation of your mind and body is happening in this culture, in a capitalist system. So when I was teaching my son about this, we were going to the store, right? He started wanting all of these things that were brightly colored and had superheroes on them. And what was really funny was that it was yogurt that had the superheroes, and he did not like yogurt at the time. And so he said, ooh, mama, mama, and he grabbed some Spider-Man yogurts, right? And he's like, I want this, I want this. And I said, honey, do you even know what's in there? Do you even know what that is? And he looks at it, he's like, no, it's Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man. He's just like, no, Spider-Man's on it. And I go, so the reason they put Spider-Man on there is because they know that the kids like Spider-Man. And he looked at me like, huh? And I said, and usually they have to put superheroes and bright colors on there because there's junk in there. Because you wouldn't buy it unless it had the cool colors and the cool characters. And he goes, so what is it, right? He's like, well, what is it? And so I went, that's yogurt. And he goes, ew. And puts it back. He's like, okay, no Spider-Man. No, I don't like yogurt. What's up, buddy?
I've gotten every card that I pulled done today.
Great.
So.
You may not have a screen. You can go play outside.
Okay.
Thank you.
No screen, but I can do things in real life, but no screen.
Correct. Did you get yourself some breakfast?
Not quite.
Not quite yet? Okay. Maybe we'll go to the grocery store today. Okay. Te amo. Love that. Definitely write that one down for my podcast. Shit. Abstract art machine. Which one? Everywhere we look, everywhere we go in this culture, it's capitalist. It's capitalism. And so, oh, the Spider-Man yogurt story. And so many of us are operating in a state of unawareness. That's how they trick you. They rely on your ignorance. They rely on your unawareness. Mijo, no más, por favor. No. I'm almost done with class. Give me another, like... Yes, what? If there is cream cheese, you're going to have to dig into the freezer to get it. Or go look in the tall freezer in the house. There might be one on the door there, but it'll be frozen, so you'll have to let it thaw for a little bit. But good idea. I want a bagel too. That sounds nice. Brian, love you too. Are you heading out? So, this is why I keep saying this, especially in the year we're in, especially the fact that there's an election and the fact that there is so much falsified, manipulated, exaggerated, sensationalized information out there in a direct attempt to manipulate you. I don't know about you, but if you're okay knowing that your choices in life are dictated by somebody outside of you who does not have your best interest at heart, then by all means, continue operating in that state. I personally kind of get a little angry at the idea that someone who does not have my interest at heart, in fact, exactly the opposite, is really just looking to harvest my resources until my life is over and there's no real care for me or my child. I don't want those kind of people leading my life. I don't want to be walked around like a horse with a carrot, right? Building somebody else's dreams, building somebody else's world. Sam, but I think it might be a social learning thing so we can all repeatedly learn these things. This is it, right? We talk in this space because of that background in psychology and human development, right? We talk about the development process a lot. During the first 8 years, you are still in the theta brainwaves. During the first 8 years, you are not completely conscious. During that first 8 years is when the bulk of the enculturation process happens. When the child is in utero, the energy, the growing zygote and whatnot starts to retrieve information from the mother's DNA, from the food that she's eating, from her emotional states, the highs and the lows, from when she sleeps, how much activity she gets. All of these things inform the growing human of what the world's going to look like when they get out. And then as soon as they get out, they're still in the dream time, not even fully conscious of this reality. In fact, when they first come out, they're barely conscious of the fact that it's, well, not barely conscious, they are really only conscious of the fact that there is self and mother. Because baby was in womb for 9 months, listening to mother's heartbeat, listening to mother's rhythms, listening to mother's breath. So when that infant comes out, the only thing that infant actually knows is mother. Doesn't even know self yet. Doesn't learn self for several months even. From utero, from conception through about 6 months of age, we are developing our root chakra. Our root chakra is our foundation in this reality, in this world. And it says, I am. I exist. And I have a right to exist in this world. I am right in my body and in my manifestation of self. On a foundational level. Right? 6 months to about 18 months, we're working on our sacral chakra. That's the pleasure center, but it's also the area for nourishment. The message here during that stage of development is, the message in the root chakra is, am I safe? safety versus fear. If we have an imbalance in our root chakra, we're going to lean towards fear rather than feeling secure and safe in our body and in our world. Move up to the sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra says, if I ask for help, will the universe meet my needs? If I ask for help, will the universe meet my needs? During the stage of about 6 months to 18 months, to about-ish, we are learning to communicate our needs in different ways, learning to get our needs met. The infant has no other skills except for to wiggle and cry, right? But after that 6 months, there starts to be some mobility, starts to be some other skills and tools that the infant has. So now it's all focused on getting my needs met. 2-year-olds, Star Muse, we move up into the solar plexus. Now we're talking about, this is your terrible twos, the age from 2 to 4. This is the area, if you want to see divinity in its full, unadulterated, authentic expression, look at a 2 to 4-year-old. They are pure solar plexus. They are learning how to express themselves and how to interact with the world. In Erik Erikson's stages of social emotional development, this is the area for autonomy versus shame and doubt. So the message here is, can I affect my world? Can I do something in my world? Can I engage with my world? If I push the ball, will the ball roll? This is the stage of, if I throw the spoon, will you keep giving it back to me, right? I love that age. I do too. And I've always really found it frustrating when people talk about the terrible 2s or the horrific 3s or whatnot, because I'm like, this is your child's first real, like, push out of energy, right? The root is just, am I here? The sacral is, can I receive? The solar is, can I do? And this is oftentimes where most of us, as we go through the enculturation process, what happens at this stage? Use your words. Don't use your hands. No hitting. You've got to follow rules. Oh, you got to sit in timeout. Hey, 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 you're being too loud. You're being too loud. You need to calm down. How many times do we tell our toddlers, experimenting with their authenticity, to shut that shit down? No, no, you can't be that loud. You can't be that way. You can't do this thing. No, 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 no. And we put them in the box that we culturally believe is appropriate. Unless we examine that box, unless we examine the parameters with which the boundaries that we offer our children, then we're just going to perpetuate the same habits that our parents and our culture gave us. As we continue developing, when we get to the age of 8, is when we start working to the heart. This is where we come out of the theta brainwave state and into the delta gamma. This is the time when our brain first, okay, so we've developed in relationships. Infancy, in utero, it's just all oneness, right? Birth happens, and then there's just mother. As development happens, the infant begins to develop a sense of autonomy and sense of self. When we move up to the heart, during this development, the child's mind understands that there are other people out there, but the child lacks things like object permanence, right? Up until the age, I think it's like 6 to 8 months, a child develops object permanence. Object permanence is, here's the ball. Have you ever done this with an infant, right? Here's a ball, here's something cute and shiny, and they'll look at it and be like, oh, and reach for it. As soon as you hide it behind your back, they're no longer interested. Why? They don't know it exists. Their brain doesn't even know it exists. This is when you first see the infant go, wait a minute. Is there something behind you? Wait a minute. Are you microwaving with the AC on? Thank you. Almost blew a circuit. Are you guys okay? Is everybody okay? I'm just checking back, guys. Thanks, DJ Natures. Okay. Vada, are you shaking right now? Do you want to ground? Let's do a grounding practice, everyone. Let's pause for a grounding practice, and we will come back to the development of the chakras and all this other stuff. That's okay. Let's ground. We can all do this together. This is a community. We can hold space together. Okay? So, grab your mudra. Do you guys want to just do the Shanka Mudra and listen to our inner space? No apologies, Vada. We are a community, and we can pause to hold space for each other. I invite everyone in this space to hold space together. So we're going to hold our mudra. This is the mudra for mystery. We're going to hold it at the heart. It's done like so. Left hand, left thumb up. Left thumb up. Right hand wraps around our left thumb. Wrap the fingers of the left hand over the fist and bunch them up together so they touch the thumb of the right hand. So the top of your fingers and thumb is going to look a bit like this. The inside is going to look like this, with your thumb in there. And you're going to rest this here at the heart. Jeannie, I'm sorry. Everyone, we're all just going to hold space. We're going to sit for 5 minutes. The intention here with this mudra is to just listen to your inner space. Listen from that slightly further back space. So we're not engaging with our thoughts. We're not trying to tell stories. We're not giving all of our attention to the self-talk. The focus right now is on the breath and on the mudra. If you're holding your mudra, I invite you to loosen up your mudra a little bit. We don't want to squeeze the thumb. We don't want to squeeze and press anything together. We hold the mudra with intention. We'll go ahead and close our eyes for 5 minutes. All you need to do in this space is to listen and to breathe. Let everything else rise and fall with the same rhythm as your breath. Go ahead and close your eyes, and we'll take 3 deep breaths to fully arrive for our practice. Inhale through the nose and pull the breath all the way into the belly. Big, heavy sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating through the spine. And sigh it out. Inhale again, expanding the ribcage in all directions. Big, deep breath and hold at the top. Taking a little more air and release. Go ahead and seal the lips. And then just find a steady, comfortable rhythm of inhales and exhales. No need to really control the breath. Just be present with the breath. And anything else that arises, let it rise and fall, just like your heart rises and falls on the breath, just like your mudra rises and falls on your breath. Listening from a distance to whatever's going on inside. Inhales and exhales through the nose. We're just listening, just being present. No need for judgment or shame. Step back from the emotions of the mind and listen to the body without the need to change or to do anything right now except for pay attention. Offer attention. Cultivate presence with whatever's inside of you. Stay with the breath. Inhaling presence. Exhaling tension. Stay with it. You are a powerful container, strong, wise, and grounded. Hold space for whatever's going on within. And just listen. Just witness. Bring intention back to your mudra. Make sure you're not squeezing too tight, but just holding it with intention at your heart. One more minute. Go ahead and take a big, deep breath in and hold at the top. Fully expand your rib cage. Breathe up into the collarbone, all the way into the belly. Fill your torso with breath. And sigh it out. Release your mudra. And bring your palms together, or simply lay your hands one over the other over your heart. In gratitude for today's practice, in gratitude for this community, and this space we cultivate together. I deeply appreciate your authenticity and the collective willingness in here to hold space for each other and to take care of ourselves. When you feel complete, go ahead and flutter your eyes open. Remember that you can return to your mudra anytime you need it. Am I still sound off? Weird. Can you guys hear better now? Hugs to everyone. Agreed. I'm going to pin you here, Wellness Integrated Solutions. It's safe to process here, okay? It's safe to process in here. This is a safe space. This is our CAYA space. For those of you who are new here, hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. I am an interfaith minister and movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being, and I am your shenanigan shaman. And this is our CAYA space. CAYA stands for Come As You Are, because in a world that relies on your ignorance, authenticity is one of the most radical things that we can do. One of the most profound things that we can do. And there's not a lot of spaces. Shenanigans, you say? Shenanigans, I say. Often shenanigans. There's not a lot of spaces in the world where you can go and truly be you. There's not a lot of spaces that you can go and feel safe to say, I'm fucking triggered! Or, I don't like this! We can show up authentically and meet each other with curiosity and willingness. When we meet each other with curiosity and willingness, we hold space for non-judgment. We may have a judgment happening in the back of our heads. Sometimes our brains do that. We can still cultivate curiosity and a willingness to hold space for someone else, to see that person in their truth and see the value in it. Beautiful Fox, the only socially polite emotions are mildly excited or mildly bothered. Agreed. I grew up in a household that was very, very intensely strict in that particular way. I was not allowed to express laughter that was too loud, much less anger that was too mad. I wasn't allowed to speak too loudly, and my voice projects. So I was always taking up space with me, with my emotions, with my personality, with my whatever shenanigans, right? But similar to our culture that teaches our children to sit down every single day in the same rooms every single day, learn the information in the same way every single day. Spirit Wanders, the forest is a great place to be your authentic self. Yes, cultivate your authenticity in a space that feels safe for you, and then carry it with you out into the matrix. Poke the matrix with your authenticity. How dare you have feelings? Other cultures venerate deep feelings. I would have been a shaman. Yeah. I'm just, my pirates are arguing and laughing over some of the things, right? That we deny our truth because it's what we're taught to do. And it's what everyone around us says we should do. Yes, Leb, when I got angry as a kid, it was the problem with me that needed to be fixed. And Jeannie, you too, you love the woods. And you know what? Going out and grounding in the forest is really, really powerful. What does it do? It grounds your energy body. It increases your levels of oxygen in your system. It relaxes your it relaxes your nervous system because you are syncing up with the rhythms of the earth. Those are the intended rhythms that we are meant to live within. And that's just it, right? The Beautiful Fox, training people to ignore their sense of grief or injustice. What could go wrong? David, no, I'm not vegan. That's just it. We are taught to ignore ourselves, our emotions, our values, our protest, right? The places we don't agree. We're taught that if we don't agree with the whole, with the norm, then there's something wrong with us. Hey friend, how are you? If you want to send me a message, I'm happy to chat. So, the whole point of talking about all of this development stuff is to understand how naturally and passively, well, actively too, but how naturally the enculturation process happens. We all become manipulated by our system. We all become informed by the internal and external stimuli, information in our reality. That is what wires us, programs us. We can still get further away from all the stories and all the things about it and just sit back and see it from a energetic, physiological, you are going to be manipulated. You are going to be you do go through the enculturation process. And that means that all of us will be wired by our culture and our caregivers, whether we agree with what they do and how they are wiring us or not. Whether we agree with it or not won't matter, because the brain and the body are unconsciously receiving the bulk of that information. Vada, I do hope you do come to the West Coast. Abstract Art Machine. Thoughts on trying to teach this stuff in the city? You've lived in the woods, but you want to share. Yeah. Teach it the same way. Because underneath the city is the earth. Gaia is always available to you. She might just be underneath layers of other things. The most important parts are not the space you meditate in. The most important parts aren't whether or not you have the right Lululemon pants or the coolest, newest yoga mat, right? The point of our mindfulness practices, the 4 most important pieces, are pillars of mindfulness. We cultivate our intention. We keep our attention on that intention. And anything else that comes up, we meet with curiosity and willingness. If you practice these 4, then you can experience mindfulness anywhere. You can cultivate shifts in your reality on a quantum level. You can manipulate time and space itself. What? I'm talking crazy talk. Time and space are relative to light. What is your attention but a kind of light? Your focus is light. Time and space are relative to the observer, based on my state of being. If I can shift my state of being, I can change my reality and my experience of my reality. Beautiful fox. Me too. Okay, but I do have a dope yoga mat. But you don't need it, right? These are all tools that help you get there. Okay. Abstract Art Machine. I guess more so how to bridge those gaps in understanding and portray the city mentality. I think using visualization or having, I'd put a potted plant. Imagine this. Take your little yoga class or whatnot, right? And if it's small enough, maybe do a circle, or if it's big, do a circle of everybody and put a plant in the center. If you got a potted tree or something else, a ficus, whatever you got, put that in the center. And have everyone in class breathe with that plant. Because what are we doing with all the plants, especially out in the forest, right? Is exchanging oxygen. And so if we use the representation of that plant right there in class, in the city, in a building, in a high rise, right? You can still experience the exchange. Inhaling from the plant, exhaling to the plant. We can go even deeper and sit in meditation and visualize our roots. In fact, I have a tethering meditation that I really, really love, where we intentionally send roots from our root chakra down to the earth. And I think this would be actually a really good one to do in the city, especially if you are higher up in a building, because the intention in the practice is to visualize every fucking layer that those roots go through. I'm sitting in my RV right now, so I would imagine that they go through the pillow I'm sitting on, and then the platform I'm sitting on, and then through the layers of the baseboards and the chassis, and then down into the earth where the tires are sitting, right? And then down into the rock, and then down into the pockets of water and oil and bone and compressed earth, right? That's the intention. And if you were in a big tall building in the city, it would be a lot of fun, because I would imagine, right, you'd be going through every layer of floor beneath you. Your intention and your attention are the most powerful things. With my intention and my attention, I can cultivate the forest around me. Much love, beautiful fox. Have a great day. In fact, I have a gathering meditation that I use for coaching sessions, where we intentionally go into a forest space and we use this space to meet each other. Oh yeah, tethering in the desert is needed. Tethering is always needed, like an anchoring practice. I thought I had this particular meditation on my podcast, and I don't. So I have the intention to put the tethering meditation on my podcast so that you can listen to it. My podcast, the link is in my link tree. Starting point as body scans. Yes, I loved learning yoga nidra, training with the yoga nidra stuff for that. Another really good practice. Ooh, that would be good in the city because you got a bunch of sound in the city. There's a meditation called the Not Me meditation. Are you guys familiar with the Not Me meditation? We've done it in here in other classes. I love the Not Me meditation. Okay, so the Not Me meditation, you can do it just with sound. But it's essentially, you can do that. Well, hold on. I just combined two things, both the Not Me meditation and the sound progression. So in the city, it would be a really good practice to sit, to sit here for your meditation, and then you reach your hearing out as far as you can possibly listen. So you instruct your students to sit there and just reach for the furthest sound that they can possibly hear, the furthest sound away from them they can possibly hear. Listen intently, without storytelling, without attaching anything to it, but it's like seeing it from really far away, right? Hearing it from really far away. Take a few moments of full and undivided focus, and then release the focus on that thing and say to yourself, I can hear this thing, so it is not me. Come in, pull your hearing in a little closer to sounds outside of the room you're in, maybe other sounds in the building. All of your focus, all of your attention, not trying to name or explain the sounds, but just focusing on listening to the sound. Focus, focus, focus. Release, and again say, I can observe this sound, so it is not me. Bring your hearing into the room directly around you, the sounds in the room around you. Listen intently, all of your focus, all of your attention. Focus, 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 focus. And then release the sounds in the room around you and say, I can observe these sounds, so they are not me. You see where we're headed? Bring the hearing in further and listen to the breath. Only the breath. Everything else has fallen away. Everything else is not you. So listen to the breath, only to the breath. And then release the breath. And again, say, I can observe this breath, so it is not me. Hi, friend. Go deeper. Listen to the heart. Listen for your own heartbeat. Intently. All of your focus, all of your attention. There is nothing else but the sound of your heartbeat until you release that sound too and say to yourself, I can observe my heart, so it is not me. There's one more layer. We go a little deeper and we listen for the thoughts. Listen for the thoughts. Any thoughts that rise up, respond to each one. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. Until the mind and the not me's quiet down on their own. This is one of my favorite cheat code kind of practices for getting into my internal space, my center. I call it my captain's chair. To get to my captain's chair. You can do the same using the eyes, using the vision as well. You can use your eyes and look around your space and try to reach for the furthest thing away that you can see. As far as you can possibly see. Give it all of your attention, all of your focus. Let it go and say, I can observe this thing, so it is not me. Move to something closer. Star Muse, that's wild, that hearing stretch. So my ears are tired when I take out my hearing aids. Captain on the bridge. Yeah, maybe. I definitely, through this practice, have found a way to intentionally stretch my hearing. There is so much subtlety available when we explore these inner practices. I can see this cat, therefore it is me. It is me. I am one with the cat. I am one with kitten. Not me meditation. It's a similar experience as when we do the sensory moving around the body, right? All of your focus on your big toe, your second toe, your third toe, your right foot, your left foot, your right knee, your left knee. It gets underneath the conscious brain, which creates a kind of surface tension, right, in the mind, and keeps the unconscious or subconscious self down. Keeps the inner workings of your inner landscape hidden away so that you can focus on the outside world, right? Your conscious mind like does this for you. This is all I am. I'm sticking my face into the matrix, and this is really all I am. And some of us, right? Some of us are also body too, so maybe floating on the water, right? Just part of your system into the matrix. We are only aware, the amount of awareness that we have of our system dictates how much of it we are actually experiencing in any moment. Your attention is far more powerful than you realize. That's why the system harvests your attention from you so obsessively. If I take your attention away, then you cannot put your attention on the things that it needs to be on. If your attention is constantly distracted, you won't have any time to think or pay attention to yourself. Yeah, Star Muse, you do that sensory one when doing past life regressions. The sensory ones and the hearing one, vision one, or the body scan one, all of these are really good for slipping past those initial barriers of consciousness. I like the way you said that, Stuff Tough. My attention to it invites the essence of it. Leb, right now you have my attention. I'd like it back eventually. I will definitely give it back here in just a little bit. You might have to hang out for a little bit longer though. So even in the way you said that, right? Even in the way that we're talking about it, we give our attention. We pay our attention. Our attention is a finite resource. It's a resource. We cultivate our attention. It is a finite thing. In fact, there were studies done that you guys might have heard me talk about for a little bit, right? There were studies done, I think, in the early 2000s about multitasking, about whether or not and how the brain actually multitasks. Does it multitask? Is it good at multitasking? Can you actually effectively do multiple tasks at one time? Studies show unequivocally that when we start to divide our attention, we only have a portion of our attention. It is a finite resource. Brittany, you are very welcome. Can't wait to try it. Good. So again, right? If you are someone who struggles, feels like you struggle with meditation or can't meditate at all or anything, please come hang out in this space. I go live 4 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Fridays, this morning, is our tiny yoga, my chair yoga flow, which happens on the edge of my bed here or outside sometimes. And the other classes are our Bhakti Bites classes. Bhakti means devotion. So devotion to what? Devotion to self-care. Because again, all you have is today. Today is all you ever have. And you are the foundation for everything else in your life. You are the garden from which everything else grows. No wonder we are only half-ass getting half-ass satisfaction when we go outside of ourselves to try to take other people's resources, energy, time, attention, affection. We take these from other people, their finite resources, because we don't know how to cultivate our own infinite resource within. The infinite resource within is prana, is life force. It flows through everyone and everything. Exactly, we choose where we spend our attention. Abstract, no, you just rapidly switch back and forth between tasks. There was a lot of pushback on the study because people were like, no, I really can. But the way they measured the brain and did all the things with the electrodes and the whatnot, and did more and more multitasking, right? Hey, Mary. And did even 2 multitasking. Now, some people were still able to manage multiple tasks. It's not that you couldn't get them done. It's that the actual brain scan showed that we are splitting our attention. Abstract, you're like, nope, fuck it, nope, it's just an illusion. Okay. I'm with you. Okay. We can absolutely multitask. I find, though, that it is not focused on multiple things that allows me to multitask. It is about unfocusing a little bit and stepping back and being able to have an expanded style of awareness of multiple things happening, right? Leb, I wonder how a line cook would do on that task. As a used-to-be chef, right? That's flow. That's not multitasking. That is all one big, beautiful dance beast thing in the kitchen. You make it one dance, one piece. Hey, Alexander, thank you. Bubbly. It's a little bubbly today. I have extra strong coffee in here, and I've been trying really hard to sip it really slow because I made it taste really delicious. Because in our awareness, right, when we expand our awareness without attachment, we are able to perceive more. But oftentimes what we do is we focus in, right? And that's okay. There is a time and a place for alpha. Theta. Delta. Gamma. And maybe there's one more below. Now I'm forgetting the blessed chart. Thank you. I love my coffee troll too. My tea troll. Focused, I think, is that gamma. It's that real high brain frequency of focused attention. When we do that, we can only give our focused attention to singular points, to singular themes. But when we step back into the more open brainwaves and fully into the theta, we open up our awareness. Remember, your awareness is not a singular point in your head. But again, Western, we think of our focus, our attention, really is coming from right here, right? But let's play a game. You guys want to play a game with me? Singing and dancing, Leb. I love those dreamy theta waves. Okay, let's play a game. Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Actually, no. Open your eyes first. And you choose a focal point. Choose one focal point. Anywhere. Choose anything. One little point. Focus. Focus as hard as you can. Imagine if that your energy was something that you could shape it into a laser point focus. Laser point focus. For me, it's just a screw on my light switch. Anything that you're focusing on, give it laser attention focus. Got it? Okay. Let go of that thing. Give your attention to the tip of your nose. All of your attention. Don't close your eyes. Look down at the tip of your nose. All of your focus. Laser pointed focus. Everything you have. Focus. Onto the tip of your nose. All of your focus. All of your attention. Pointed, 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 pointed focus. Close your eyes. Roll your eyes around behind your closed eyelids. Give your eyes all of your attention, all of your focus, all of your focus. You can move, keep moving them if it helps. All of your attention, all of your focus on your eyeballs, on the balls of your eyes, rolling around in your head. All of your attention, all of your pointed focus only on your eyeballs. Okay, now shift. Turn your eyeballs up as if you are actually looking into your third eye space behind your eyelids. All of your attention, all of your focus, 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 focus. Laser pointed focus right there at your third eye, burning a little hole in your third eye. All of your focus, all of your attention. Now release and drop your attention into your belly button. That same focal attention into your belly button. All of your attention, all of your focus. Focus, 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 focus. Focus right inside your belly button as if you are sticking your face right inside. Laser pointed focus right inside of your belly button. Move your attention to your big toe. All of your attention on the entire big toe. Not just a single point, but the entire big toe. All of your attention, all of your awareness on the entire big toe. Doesn't matter which big toe, pick a big toe. All of your attention, all of your focus on that big toe. Attention, attention, focus. And now, as if a bubble popped, as if there was a small explosion, release your focus and allow it to expand out all the way around you. Release any focus, any attention, and anytime your attention goes to one thing, let go. Allow your perception to expand out beyond your body, all around you. Expanding to touch the walls of the space you're in, the ceiling and the floor. Move freely through your awareness. Feel the way the walls feel as your awareness touches them. Feel the way the texture of the ceiling in the room that you're in as your awareness runs across the ceiling. Bring your awareness to the floor. Feel the texture of the floor of the room you are in as your awareness touches it. Bring your awareness to the middle of your space, regardless of where you are in the space. Bring your awareness to the middle of the space. Feel the middle of the room you are in. In your mind's eye, look around. Standing outside of yourself in the center of the room, what can you see? What can you perceive? What can you feel? What can you hear? What can you taste? What can you smell? Bring all your senses in to this expanded awareness, filling up every corner, every inch of the room that you are in. Pick something else in your awareness in this room and go touch it. Don't move your body. Bring your awareness to touch it. Feel how it feels on your fingers, underneath your fingertips. Does it have a taste? Take a big deep breath in and pull your awareness back to your third eye. Turn your eyes up to stare at your third eye. Take a couple of breaths. Go ahead and just return your awareness to wherever you would like it to be. You can leave it in your third eye, you can put it in your captain's chair, you can put it in your heart, you can put it back in your belly button, you can leave it in your big toe, you can leave it spread out over the room. It doesn't matter, it is up to you. That is your attention to cultivate. Wherever you would like to put it, go ahead and let it go. Flutter your eyes open when you feel complete. Abstract art machine. Dude, you're changing lives with this one. That's why we go live, to change lives. With these simple shenanigans. With shenanigans. Hi, B. Halen. You came in at the right time. You were in my dream the other day. Like, just you showing up in the live were in my dream the other day. There was something about you that I was wondering where you were. And we were talking. I was like, I wonder where B. Halen's been. And then you popped in. That's really funny. Eating pad thai with your eyes closed? Alexander, I was a simple shenanigan once. Ooh, DJ Nature, you ended up in a tree. Brittany, that was fun. Thank you. You're very welcome. So, what did you experience? Leb, I tasted a mirror. I got a metallic mirror taste when I was asking about taste in the room. Hey, ST, how are you? So what did you all experience? What is your attention? Where is your attention? How big or how small is your attention? Alexander, it's amazing how you can look around the room and imagine what things would feel like on your tongue. Yes. What's interesting, some of you may have seen the room from a different angle. If you were not in the middle of the room, like me, I'm not in the middle of the room, I put myself here in the middle of the room. You know what I was able to see? My back. The back of my head. The side of my shoulder. Avery, I feel the heroes coming back and meeting each other. We are gathering, my loves. Yes, the collective. The collective, we are stronger together, and we are, what was the statement the other day? We do not rise individually, we rise collectively. We are a tide. Abstract Art Machine, you asked, do I think it's possible to see people in dreams you've never met before and why this happens? Yes, it is possible, and we do. Why this happens can be any number of reasons for, and it really, the why is for you to answer, right? The why is for you. But does it happen? Absolutely. Can astral projection happen? Yes. Alexander, I was pretty cute sitting off in the corner of the room. Spirit wanders, pink sparkling diamonds, gently glowing, but they're heavy, hanging in the center of the room. Wow, I love that. So I do a practice, if you guys are interested. I do private coaching sessions, and there you have access, during my private coaching sessions, you have access to all of my tools. It can be meditation, it can be mantras, mudras, child psychology, elder psychology, gerontology, home funerals, home births, nutrition, herbalism. There is a massive toolbox that I have accumulated over the years. So when we do coaching together, you get access to all of those tools. One of the tools that I really love to use is very similar to this game. This, it's called dream journeying. Or I call it dream journeying because that's what I've always called it. And it's a similar exploration that allows us to explore, intentionally explore our internal landscape. So if you found this helpful, if you found it, Brittany, I could actually feel the texture of my rug under my fingertips. Yes. So if this resonated with you, then you are already primed to do dream journeying. It is a powerful practice. Imagine being able to go back in time, forward in time, to go into the room where something awful is happening and step in. To be able to stand in the truth of the future authentic you want to be. Imagine being able to go and have the tough conversations with people who no longer are here. Or to be able to ask the advice of somebody that you wish was here with you. These are all available within dream journeying, and it is a conscious waking practice. It's not lucid dreaming. Alex, lucid dreaming is quite interesting. It is a lot of fun. Astral projection, lucid dreaming, these are in the dream time. Dream journeying is in the meditative state, in the mindful state. Spirit Wanders, do I do any lucid dreaming classes or meditations? I don't have any right now. My podcast has very few meditations on it, and really I'm just waiting for suggestions, requests. If you know anything about human design, my human design is to respond. My authority is to respond. And the thing that I have found after all of these years of developing all these tools and building this fucking toolbox and having all this shit, I thought that I was going to create a training course. I was going to write a training manual about human development and wellness across the lifespan and link these things between energy development and psychology development and social emotional development and put them all into this practice, right? Into this theory. However, I literally spent a good decade trying to distill the information into a logical piece. And I felt like every single time I tried, it's like fog suddenly spread across my brain and I couldn't even access my own information. The one reliably every single fucking time, almost, way to get that information out of the toolbox is for somebody else to ask. This is what I'm talking about being authentic, about discovering our authenticity, no matter what the outside world tells us. The outside world and capitalism says I should charge for every bit of information I share. It says I should create textbooks and certification programs and classes and workshops. Do I enjoy teaching those things? 100%. But my truth is that this information is imperative to our collective thrival. And if I have it and I'm sitting here gatekeeping about it, I am not being true to my values, to the way I relate to others or to myself. Alexander, I believe you will still. It's a very broad subject. Thank you. You're very welcome, friend. Thank you. I still intend to work toward it, but I think it's going to manifest as something more interactive or collective than I thought. Spirit Wanders, the knowledge just disappears under the pressure and lights because when we are forced to repeat the information, it's not coming from an authentic place. Ooh, B. Halen, you could feel the asphalt outside of the car and you went in someone else's vehicle. Was there something else in there? Was there something cool in there? This is the essence of dream journeying. So your question, right, was do I share those am I going to do those meditations or classes? That's what the Bhakti Bites is for. And if you guys request things like lucid dreaming stuff or dream journeying, the thing is I don't lead dream journeying on a group level because it's such a personal experience. I don't do a lot of I don't give you, now you see this, now you see that, now you see this. It is actually an exploration with you where you say, I see this. And then we step forward. And then I see this or hear this or this is going on. And then we step forward. Same thoughts on thinking about this so I can still feed myself. That's the thing, is cultivating balance, right? The dollar is not king in here. I am not trying to pad my pockets and become some wealthy guru, false, leader sort of nonsense. No. My very clear message has been give the information. Knowledge is power. Information is free and imperative for us to raise the collective vibration. Make sure there is an exchange. To balance energy, there must be an exchange. So I do trade, I do cash, I do all sorts of, products, services, whatever, time, and sometimes I just offer things. Because capitalism says, yeah, I'll give you this 30-minute workshop where you never give me any real information and you're basically just marketing to me the entire time. Here you go. Here's the free workshop. Come to my free workshop and I'll just market to you for 30 minutes. Here, you're going to get literally several hours of information and practices and tools. If you want to come and work directly with me, then we got to figure out an exchange for that. thank you guys for the gifts. Thank you guys for the support, and I'm glad you appreciate it. Like, I was so afraid. Honestly, I felt so much resistance to sharing the information, mostly because I was told to do it in this particular way, that I had to gatekeep, that I had to charge a bunch of money, and this, like, what's it called? Money mindset stuff, where they're like, just charge thousands of dollars. Who cares? Just set your price like way the fuck up there. And if you don't do that, well, then you're not valuing yourself. No, I just don't value the dollar as king, as the only form of exchange. In fact, I much more value people who can exchange a service or a product or a thing that I genuinely need. Because money doesn't always get me the things that I genuinely need. And when I seek out my choices in life based on my need for money, it almost always leads me away from my authenticity, because my authenticity has nothing to do with that dollar bill thing. My authentic experience in life is to be an abundant being. And abundance comes in countless ways. But we live in a culture that says the only way to be abundant is to have a bunch of money. Oops, manipulation. It's a misnomer that leads you away from your truth, that keeps you stuck in a cycle of groping for a finite resource. Your authenticity is an infinite resource. Your authenticity is when you align your finite system with an infinite resource, with the infinite prana that's flowing through you. And that is your intended purpose expression. Leb, my best friend, accuses me of hating money. He's not entirely wrong. I hated money for a long time. And that resistance, whether it's push or pull, whether I hate it or I love it, is still an attachment. Because when I hate something, I create tension between me and that thing. I don't have space for it in my life. When I love something, I keep trying to hold on to and pulling at that thing. And if that thing disappears, then I'm lacking. I don't have. That was a major perspective shift for you. You're welcome. Whether you love it or hate it, is tension, is attachment. Attachment creates tension. Tension creates imbalance, pain, and ultimately turns into suffering if we maintain that tension for an extended period of time. And this will manifest. That tension manifests in the mind. That tension manifests in the breath, in the heartbeat, and in the body. As imbalances, as dis-ease, as aches and pains and chronic conditions. When we end up with chronic conditions, it's usually because there are other layers of self that have been out of alignment for quite some time. They manifest in the body, because this is the most material expression. This is like the last layer that your guides and body and universe has to communicate with you. And so what does capitalism do? What does a system that seeks to manipulate you do? It tells you to ignore the message system. Ignore your check engine light, ignore your body telling you what it needs, and you should just listen to what the doctor, who's never met you and wrote a book 50 years ago based on a very limited sampling of testing, you should do what they said. And in fact, everybody should do what they said, because they're the expert. Are you okay, Michael? His wife see same way. His wife see same way. His wife see same way. You've said that a couple times. Pain yaw. Pain yaw put V3. I'm gonna give yaw same thing. Are you in pain right now? Or are you talking about an energetic exchange, like a revenge kind of exchange? Alexander, the American capitalist medicine system is more of a sickness care system anyway. So Western medicine has a purpose and a place, and it was developed on the battlefield. Western medicine was developed on the battlefield. It is an emergency style of medicine. When you go through medical school, nutrition is an elective. It's not a foundation. It is not meant, I mean, the education system, through the medical field. And again, this is from, I didn't go through the medical schooling. I know people who have told me this directly. And I've also heard plenty of stories from, other doctors who go, it's an elective, we don't even have to take it. Or if we do have to take it, it's a quick class and that's it. We focus on blood transfusions and catheters and broken bones and emergency care and end of life. Even end of life care in Western medicine. If you are in the hospital, unless you have a DNC, DNR, do not resuscitate. It is their protocol, even if you have been there sick for a while and are basically on your way out. It is still their protocol to try to resuscitate you, even if they know that you're at the end of your life, to try to give you, 5 more minutes, 2 more days, something like that. And every time it does it, it racks the system. Every time you resuscitate the system. It's not even there is a time and a place for it. And it's really good at what it does. But it is not the nurturing, sustainable, the foundation of our wellness that we find with other modalities. And I'm going to say them this way because that's what they are. More traditional modalities. We need to shift the perspective. We need to shift the language around it. Western medicine is a modern modality. Traditional modalities are the ones that have been around for hundreds or thousands of years. These are the ones that are sustainable. Yes, babe. It's almost 1 o'clock. Well, usually I go until 2, but you've already gotten all your stuff done, you've had your breakfast, and I'm kind of feeling hungry. Do you think your cream cheese is... I like that you put it in the sun. So it would warm up, yeah. Good idea. You think it's ready?
I checked a few minutes ago. It wasn't. It was still frozen on the inside.
Yeah. Well, even if it's on the inside, that's okay at the center, because the edges, if they got warmed up, we can just take it off the edges.
Okay, I'm gonna go check.
Okay. How about I will close out when the cream cheese is ready to bagel?
Close out whenever you need your room.
What are you doing, a Mudra, over there? I love you. Te amo todo tiempo, mijo. I will go ahead and wrap up here, okay?
You don't have to.
Did you need something then, or are you just asking how much longer?
I was just asking.
Oh, okay. Usually I go for 1 more hour, but I'll wait until that cream cheese is ready to bagel.
Okay, do whatever you need.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. My son and I have recently made up a whole new game that when he makes a request for something, when he wants to negotiate something, we have to do it in horse stance. So hold on. Okay. All right.
Ready?
Give your good horse stance all the way. There you go.
Could I possibly play Minecraft for the rest of your life or Roblox?
You can play Minecraft for the rest of the life.
Okay, ma'am.
Go ahead and release.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Make sure that you do it either in the house or in here, okay?
Okay, I'm probably gonna do it in the house.
Okay. So. Abstract art machine. So there's several tools like that I have to break up what usually feel like combative, right? If your child is coming to you for a request and you are essentially the keeper of those privileges, right? And so it's almost creates this what can I do to get it? This negotiation and or manipulation. So a lot of times what I will do is get us out of the mental state of it and get us into just the physical feeling part of it. That way it keeps the body active so I can feel. It keeps the body active and aware so I can feel if a trigger comes up or if an emotion comes up, right? Rather than just being here and being like, it also offers me a lot more flexibility, usually in my responses to him, because I'm aware of my emotions, which helps me set my boundaries that I need, rather than just, yeah, sure, go ahead, whatever. So the other one that I really like too, because I like shenanigans, is when we are having really difficult discussions. Like if there's some kind of critique or something that I need to talk to him about. For example, he does do chores in the house, and sometimes the dishes have to be done over again. So to soften the blow, so to speak, right? To make it a little more playful, instead of going, look, you didn't fucking finish them, gosh darn it, here's all the dishes again, and I get angry or frustrated about it, I go like this. Okay, son. One finger or the other finger. Okay, son. Here are the dishes that need to be redone. Okay? Take this one. This one needs to be redone. You see that spot right there? Okay. I'll make a funny face. Or, this is one I like a lot too. And I'll talk to him like this over things. That way it keeps him from feeling like it's too serious, and I'm showing him that I'm not trying to be mean, right? I want this to be playful. I want him to understand that my message is soft. My message is gentle. When we were growing up, a lot of us had brick walls for boundaries. We talk about, as parents, we set this safe container for our children, but a lot of us, when we found the boundaries, found the edges, they were brick walls, and we got hit back when we found those messages, right? When we found those boundaries. And so I never wanted to give my son the message that he couldn't test boundaries. He is growing. He is evolving. The point is for him to expand. And if for some reason a wall that I have set up as a boundary is too tight for him, what's going to happen is he's going to keep hitting that wall. That's what children do. They grow. It's not meant to, your children are not trying to manipulate you. I mean, they are, but not really. You know what I mean? Not in a nefarious way. Your children are not trying to get one over on you. Your children are not attacking you. Your children are they're following their natural impetus to grow, to expand. They are like weeds underneath the concrete. They will find the cracks, and they will break through. Keep that container too small with brick walls, and you're going to experience pushback. Not because they're being mean, but because they're trying to expand. That's what nature does. That's what they're trying to do. Our job as parents is to create a container so that it's big enough that they can run around and jump and explore and expand within it. And be dynamic and responsive, so that when they push against a wall repeatedly, you go, okay, there is time, we need to move this wall. Let's figure something out. Or if it's a wall that has to stay steady, then keep it steady. But it doesn't have to be a battle. You don't have to hurt anybody. Nobody has to get hurt when you find a boundary of just like, son, I love you, but if you would stop asking me for the same thing over and over and over again, I'm starting to get frustrated, and I'm starting to feel like I don't want to give it to you at all because you're not respecting my boundary about it. He usually gets a chuckle and an, okay, mom, sorry, which is very different than saying things I don't have to say. You guys know what those things sound like. Hope you poke the Matrix while at the grocery store later. Thanks, Stephen. I always poke the Matrix. So, again, playfulness, shenanigans. When we weave these things in, we remind ourselves and others, our children, or those in the situation, that there's room to move. Can I give another example? Sure, actually. One of my favorite things to do when when our emotions are really heightened. Michael, I'm listening to what you're saying here, but I'm not sure. I don't understand. That's how Bobby got you looking. When his wife comes over, I'm not sure what you're saying, hun. If you want to send me a message and I'm not understanding what you're saying, feel free to send me a message and we can chat privately. But my dog, my healer, oh, he's got his llama. He is waiting, just like the kid. He's like, are we gonna go play now? Can you guys see the llama? There you go. There he is. Yes, I do understand. I am telling you right now that I do not understand, Michael. That is my truth, and you cannot be in my head and change that truth. I do not understand what you are trying to communicate through the comments here. So if you would like to try to communicate it via direct message, I am offering that you can do that there so that we can actually have a conversation, because I'm not understanding you here. And just telling me that I do is a kind of arrogance that we don't do in here. Yeah, you can't know what I'm feeling or thinking, right? You're not in my head, yes. So, another one, another tool. This one works in interpersonal situations and also works on your own. So, hold on. This has several points. You know what I'm thinking? I'm annoyed. No, I'm not annoyed. I just genuinely want to understand what's being said. And if there's an annoyance, it's at the situation, right? That I can't understand what's happening through the comments. So maybe a little frustration in the lack of understanding, because I really do want to create space for everyone to be heard. And I don't like it when somebody feels like they're not being heard, and I can see it here in the comments. And so I always try to let's just redirect and go to my DMs. Or come into the Discord and chat more, because it is really limited here on the lives. This is Ajna. This is Ajna, and this is his llama. And Ajna is waiting to go play with his llama. So we might have to end at 1:30, although the kid's going to be mad because he's on video games. He is a blue healer. He is 2, and he is my Velcro dog. He is always right at my heels. Okay, so for real, I'll give you this other one. Okay, ready? Whether or not you have a pocket, okay? Join me for this practice. Whether or not you have a pocket, imagine that you reach into your magic pocket. Everybody has a magic pocket. It's somewhere either on your pants or on your shirt. Go ahead and find it. Where's your magic pocket? Find it, reach inside of your magic pocket, and pull out the deflated balloon that's in there. Did you find your deflated balloon inside of your magic pocket? Tell me once you have it. All you need is one for now. Once you have it, take your fingers and pinch the mouth hole, right? Pinch the hole of the balloon so you can blow it up, okay? Now, before you blow it up, I want you to choose an emotion, an energy, a feeling, something within you that you are ready. Alexander, good, that's the point. When you are ready, something you are ready to let go of, something you are ready to release. Well, let me take back that. Something you are ready to just put outside of yourself for a little bit. You don't have to be ready to let it go completely, okay? I'll give you options here. Something you want to put outside of yourself for a little bit. Something you want to make a little bit lighter. Something you're ready to take off your heart. Got it? You're holding the end of your balloon. Cultivate that emotion inside of you. For me, it's going to be anger, right? Because anger is one of those that I've got a well of and I'd like to just off gas. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to find anger in my body. I'm going to take a couple of breaths and I'm going to let the emotion out. I'm going to let the emotion start to move through my system. I'm going to breathe big, deep breaths, giving permission for that emotion to come out. If you don't feel anything or see anything, just set the intention. to let that emotion start to move through you, start to grow through you. Pull that emotion up, no matter where it is in your body. Pull it up into your throat. Feel that? Did you feel that shift in your throat? That emotion just popped into your throat. Are you ready? Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, blow into your balloon as hard as you can. Do you still have more of that feeling? Take a deep breath. Feel it in your throat, pull it into your throat, and exhale it into your balloon. Your balloon is getting a little bit bigger at this point. Do you still have more of that emotion to put into your balloon? I sure do. And it's kind of stuck down inside my liver, actually. So I'm going to take a second, take a couple more breaths. Pull that emotion up into my throat again. Anger in my throat. Don't pass out. Take a deep breath. Once you got that emotion ready to release, and blow into your balloon. Okay, once you have that emotion and you feel a little bit of release, you feel a little bit of movement, you feel a little bit of giddiness, a little bubbliness, a little lightness, when you feel something shift, go ahead and tie your balloon off. Hopefully you're good at tying balloons, because this is an imaginary balloon and you don't want it to slip out of your fingers. You might not find it. So grab your balloon, tie it up. Hola, mijo. Hola, hola, hola. You're not my son. Hola, perro. Un momento. Tie off your balloon. Now hold your balloon right here. Here inside this balloon is the energy of that emotion, thought, memory, feeling, whatever it is. Energy is right here. Now, this is my favorite part. Out of all the other stuff, this is my favorite part. Because now is when you have a choice. You can grab a string from your other magic pocket where you keep the balloon string, and you can tie it to the end of your balloon. And you can give it some string, and you can tie it to your wrist. And you can spend all day long holding on to this feeling. Let's say this feeling is grief. Let's say you recently lost someone and there's grief on your heart. And you're not really ready to let go of that grief. You're still very attached to that person and that feeling. It often weighs heavy on our heart. So take this balloon, fill it with that grief, tie it on a string, and leave it on your wrist. That way it's not so heavy on your heart as you go throughout your day, but instead you keep it with you. Now, here's the other one, and this is usually my favorite way to do it. Before you tie your balloon and put a string on it, if you just want to let that shit go, just open your fingers and go. Let it go. There will always be a deflated, empty balloon waiting in your magic pocket. And there will always be balloon string in your other pocket if you ever need these things. And if you would like, you can fill that balloon with whatever emotion, and you can carry it with you like Eeyore and his little rain cloud. Everywhere you go, it can be with you. V. Halen, can I clip these practices? It's probably a good idea, actually. They would make for good content. That said, I am looking for somebody to do full-time editing for me. I offer full-time or, service, whatnot, trade, memberships and trade. If you can edit and you enjoy editing and you would like to help me move through all of this content, because there's a fuck ton of it. I've been teaching these classes for more than a year now. So there's a lot of content. Oh, I was going to make a note about these practices. 1 o'clock-ish. because there were other 1230 practices. No, there weren't. Ooh, Spirit Wanders, my shame balloon is huge. That was such a good practice. Did you let it go? Or did you tie it to your wrist? Abstract, you forgot to join the Discord last week. You can definitely make time. Yes! If any of you would like to join the Discord, you let it go! If any of you would like to join the Discord, the link is in my link tree. You can join for free. It's the best place to find me because I put extra resources in there. All of my social feed from everywhere goes directly into there. We do extra events and fun things in there. I do screenings of things and podcast stuff in there. There's all sorts of other stuff. But that is the place where I hang out. And the reality is that this information, I'm taking it as a compliment, right? I'm taking it as a compliment that the algorithm, that the different platforms that I'm on pretty much every platform. And almost every platform is to some degree hiding my content. So instead of fighting with the algorithm, instead of fighting with the powers that be that don't want you to have this, that don't want you to reach self-actualization, that rely on your willful ignorance, come into the Discord so that you can get the tools, so that you can uncover the authentic truth that you are and live by that. Not by what somebody else told you you should live by. Not by the subconscious programs that we received through the natural enculturation process. Tammy, I think it's that they're afraid of the truth. Not even afraid of the truth. Tammy said they hate the truth. And I want to shift that because I think it's more about fear and attachment. Those energies that are benefiting right now, the dense energies that we are essentially evolving out of, are groping for their last bits of life. Capitalism is a system that is completely breaking down. It is no longer functioning for most of us. So we have to develop new tools. But in the face of those new tools, the system that is currently still in power is going to seek to maintain that power. And they're going to use any means possible to maintain that power. Thank you for the gift, friend. They being powers that control us. And I guess I want to step back even further because we can look at the system with an intention, and when we look at it with an intention, like somebody is out there trying to do these nefarious things, I'm not saying people aren't, but when we focus on that piece, then we develop a kind of, fuck those people are bad people, right? We develop a more tension in there, rather than if we sit back and see the system itself as its own entity, as its own universe, as its own life. In that way, we can choose to engage with it or not. We can choose our relationship with it or not. It's not some people in back rooms making different decisions. It is the thing that you are actively engaging with every day. That's what the economy really is. Not what one person says it is, but the way that we all engage with each other. Abstract, I like capitalism, we just don't profit from it and need to adapt the business model. So some really interesting economy projections actually talk about the fact that we won't leave capitalism completely, but that we will reframe it in a way that makes sure that it takes care of the system, that takes care of everybody, rather than being a greedy, imbalanced system. We are going to find balance within that system. And that I'm really excited about because I don't think we need to entirely revamp, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. If we have something that does work, let's make it work for everybody. Let's make it work in a way that is sustainable. Abstract 2, let's expand on that because capitalism is a system that keeps us accountable and honest. Bartering would be and is messy. Yes, and we don't know, a lot of us don't know how to do it, and it's something that we cultivate. Bartering is something that I grew up with. Bartering and negotiating are something that I always grew up with, having lived in other countries. And so a lot of times when we go to trade things here, right, we think from a capitalist perspective. rather than a value perspective. Meh. Am I concerned about the potential TikTok ban? No, I'm not, because there's always other platforms. And because TikTok, the whole issue with TikTok last year, I know we talked about it last week or the other class, is that while the servers were elsewhere, while TikTok was elsewhere before that court case and whatnot, our government didn't have access to the information on TikTok, and that was their biggest concern. Our government, the US government, is taking information from all the other social platforms that are based here. They use them to harvest your information. They're actually quite candid about it. It's the, again, major misdirection to say, oh no, be worried that other country is going to steal your info because they have control of this app. Why don't we just bring it here to the US so the US government can take the info rather than giving it somewhere else. The current location for the servers, for the TikTok servers, are actually in Texas. And in doing my research when that happened at some point late last year, I found a couple of names associated with the company that now keeps and maintains those servers. Some of those people were also the people associated with Project 2025. Names in both places. Several names in both places. So I am actually far more concerned about the people who have control of TikTok right now, and I am not really, like, they are going to try to control the sources of information. Why have we gone with, I've been on TikTok now for about 2 years. About 2 years, actually. And in that 2 years' time, we've nearly reached 10,000 people. That's fucking amazing. I see growth on the other platforms in like one person every week or something. But since I've been on here on TikTok, since I've been teaching this stuff and giving the information out for free, we have just gone. That means it's working. And after we skyrocketed, they started attacking my content. They won't even, like I said, they won't even let me appeal things now or even submit support tickets. And I've repeatedly tried to address the issues, and they always just say, oh, you just violated our community guidelines. I said, no, I didn't. I violated your idea of where this information should be and who should have access to this information. You don't like the fact that I'm sharing this information for free. That's okay. You don't have to like it. It's my information to share. So if you'd like to learn more about this stuff, if you'd like to practice this stuff without having to fight the AI and whatnot, come into the Discord. It's because you're too appealing. It's because I'm not divisive. It's because I'm not sensationalizing things. It's because I'm not screaming about material world finite manipulation crap that they want us to engage in. That's part of the growth model, FYI, yeah. On Twitch. I am on Twitch and on Kick. I am on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Clapper, X, probably a couple other places too. Patreon, Linktree, those places too. Buy Me a Coffee. I'm even on Buy Me a Coffee as well. But I only go live in a couple of places at a time, just because of the software that I have. So if there's a place you'd like to see me live more, I was actually directed to both Kick and Twitch because somebody was saying that they've mostly been for gaming and there's not a lot of this kind of content on there, and then the content's not being censored in the same way. So I think since you mentioned it, and that's actually been this last week, a couple people have mentioned it. I think Vada also said something about it. I need to just go back to doing Kick or Twitch. It's literally sitting right here on my streaming device. Not on. Oh, he left a llama. Lab, you were on Twitch for a while. You thought of moving your new stuff over there. My only problem, I think it's Twitch, or is it Kick, or both of them, that you can't just post videos on there. Like, I can't just post my content to it, which is kind of a bummer. But like 100% of my content comes into TikTok pretty much. Because that's where we have the biggest audience. And because I put it on YouTube and it takes a week and we get 5 views. Spirit Wanders. Insight Timer is good for the live meditations. You can subscribe to teachers you like and know ahead. Huh. I didn't know that you could, as a teacher, do that stuff. Again, I have Insight Timer on my phone, and I really haven't explored it enough, apparently. So I'm going to make another note here to look at Insight Timer. But I also have a podcast where you can get my meditations and stuff. Yeah, Twitch is just live streaming. But, you know, if we were to put all the content in the Discord, I don't know. I really just want to make the app. Really just want to make an app that we can have our own platform with nobody else's fucking fingers in it, and put all the tools and all the pieces and all the teachers and all the practices and all the things in there. I think that was it, is that like I saw a paywall and stopped. And that's the other piece, is I would really like to make the RPG, the mindfulness app something that you don't have to pay for. I'd like to figure out a way to make sure that my bills get paid, but we have something that you guys can use for free. The dollar is not king. And these are the foundation for our wellness. These tools, these practices are the foundation for our wellness. Awesome. Abstract, that'd be amazing. Make profit with advertising. I don't think I want to include a bunch of ads. Can you imagine being in a mindfulness app and then your meditation getting broken up because, like it does on Spotify if you're not paying, because then there's an ad? I don't want manipulation. Ads are marketing manipulation, and I'm trying to clear the space from any of that kind of manipulation so that you can recognize how you are manipulating yourself or being manipulated, right? It doesn't cost me a damn thing, Michael Daniel, to make an app. Actually, it does. Quite a good amount of time and skill. It is not an easy task to do, and I am very impressed by developers. I have a friend who is a developer, and I've already reached out to him about the app, but he's too busy with work and whatnot. He's like, sorry, not my thing. I'm like, okay. But it's a whole nother language. It's a whole nother reality, and to do it right does take quite a bit of skill. You swear you hear the pirates? If you get a following, you will, yeah, and people will donate as they can. That's what I'm thinking too, is just to have it as a like nonprofit. I actually am really interested in creating a nonprofit. Okay, Michael, why don't you go ahead and just DM me if you want to chat with me about my personal situation, or if you have a complaint to share with me about me or about things I teach. Feel free to come into my DMs and we can have the conversation there. But you're not adding to the conversation here, you're just kind of distracting away from it, and it's starting to devolve into judgment. It's starting to devolve not from a place of curiosity and willingness, but so to protect the space for everyone, we ask everyone to be personally responsible for their words and for their behaviors in this space. Yeah, Leb, you had no idea where the line was for that one, but I knew we were close. Yeah. And thank you so much, moderators, for helping cultivate this space. Billy, you're very welcome, guys. Again, for those of you who are new here, hi. My name is Reverend Deborah. I'm an interfaith minister and a movement facilitator and your shenanigan shaman. And this is our CAYA community space. CAYA, C-A-Y-A, stands for Come As You Are, because authenticity is the point in here. We are cultivating authenticity. So we expect that you're going to show up exactly as you are. But just like any other space that is being used for a particular purpose, like a classroom or a church, right, or a temple and these kinds of things, we all must be responsible for how we show up in that space. If we cannot be personally responsible for how we show up in that space, then we are often ushered out of that space. If everyone is here to learn and to sit in a classroom or to meditate in a meditation, those that come in and try to distract from that space, from what everyone else is doing, will be quietly ushered out, right? Patiently ushered out. I'm sorry. we're going to go ahead and take your energy out of this space so you do not disrupt everybody's space. But here's the thing. I really only mute people because I want people to have the chance to come back. This is something really important in here, guys. I view the live as kind of like sitting in a park, right? We're all sitting in a park chatting and hanging out. Some people are coming and going. Some people are on the inner circle here. Some people are hanging out on the edges. Some people just randomly run by and go streaking, right? Screaming obscenities or screaming about presidents or screaming about God or whatever it is that they have to say. They'll come and they'll go. And we don't get distracted. We don't get thrown off balance by the people who, right, go flying through our little meditation circle. But if somebody comes to sit down and engage in the conversation, we do ask for a sense of personal responsibility. That's what I think of as trolls, like the streakers, people who come by and just go, Trump 2024, or God loves you, or whatever, like the, big all caps yelling at you about the same thing over and over. Those are just streakers. Those are people running by, nakedly showing you their judgment and their projections. So we let them just run by, and if they stay and start screaming, then we just mute them. But in this space, and if you'd like to hang out in this space, I encourage you to practice meeting each other with curiosity and willingness. We might have judgment in our head. We might feel frustrated or triggered by what somebody says, or by who somebody is, by somebody's authentic expression. But that is my responsibility, how I respond to that. And in this space, we practice being in that in-between instead of just reacting and typing something nasty back to somebody, snarky back to somebody. I invite you to take a deep breath. When you feel that energy come up, take a deep breath, sit with it, and ask, what is my intention here? Because if my intention is to get somebody back or to pull energy from somebody else, we're going to let that go. You don't need to say anything. You can just recognize that that was an imbalance. What is my inner snark? And we can be playful. You guys hear me cuss in here. You hear me talk about my pirates on my pirate ship. We can be playful and funny and silly. And at the same time, we can expect each other. This is a matter actually of extending trust, extending compassion, extending faith and confidence. I have confidence that every one of you that comes in here has the capacity for personal responsibility. And I invite you in this space to cultivate it. That's why you are welcome back again and again and again and again, right? Moderators, we really only block people if they have repeatedly come in aggressively out of line, right? Or people who have come into my DMs and have been really nasty and awful and whatnot. If you're going to do that, if you're going to attack people repeatedly, then we will block you from the space. And that's unfortunate, but at some point, the mark of a tolerant society is intolerance of intolerance. So we cultivate tolerance and understanding. We cultivate recognizing the value in each other. And we practice setting aside our judgment, setting aside our doubts and our fears, so that we can truly give ourselves the opportunity to learn and grow in a way that is not available to us in other spaces when we don't do that. Billy, I extend my empathy to a point, but when the person like that keeps saying it over and over, and this is it, Billy, this is the practice. Because what happens, right? You extend only to a certain point. So when you find the edge of that extension, I encourage you to see if you can extend a little more, to meet your edge and see if you can reach out a little bit further. Use it as an opportunity to practice holding space for somebody regardless of how repetitive, right? Even if your own head says, God, this is annoying. That is a negative judgmental self-talk, and that same self-talk speaks to you that way. You extend your empathy to others, to yourself, only to a point. We recognize that every expression, right, is a projection of the way that we treat ourselves. So in this space, we practice that reflection. And I go, oh, if I'm triggered by this thing, What am I saying to myself when I am behaving similarly? I'm not perfect. I'm a human. I fuck up. Right? How do I meet myself when that happens? With shame and guilt and blame and judgment and annoyance? Oh, fuck, you're so annoying. Yeah, sometimes I do. But I'm working on building a better relationship with myself, because I know that if I build a better relationship with myself, then I can cultivate better relationships outside of me. And since we're pack animals, we don't thrive on our own. We can survive on our own, but we are intended to live together, to live in packs, to be the collective. And so it's imperative that we cultivate the tools to be in that collective space, to hold space for the collective and to be part of the collective. We talk recently in my content, right, over the concept of the lone wolf, and people saying, no, I'm a lone wolf. I don't belong in a tribe. I don't belong anywhere in any family. I don't fit in any. I'm just a lone wolf all by myself. What is a lone wolf? Because wolves are pack animals. They thrive in packs. A lone wolf is at the point on their journey where they're in between packs. And for longevity of life and fullness of life, that wolf eventually does look for another pack. And if it doesn't, those wolves don't typically live into long old age because they're much more vulnerable on their own. The lone wolf is not about being strong, a tower unto yourself, and not needing anybody or anything else. The lone wolf is about taking the time to be with yourself, to cultivate a relationship with yourself so you can rejoin the collective, knowing yourself, trusting yourself, loving yourself. The goal is to rejoin the collective. Are some of us the type of people who live on the edge of the collective? Yeah. But we still need the collective. That isolated concept is one of manipulation, is one of control. Leb, I'm a lone wolf currently accepting pack applications. I like that. Just the gingerbread lady spreading love. Thank you, gingerbread lady. So, I hope the tools help. And spirit wanders. Lone wolf can also mean you feel like you don't fit into a pack. Exactly. But we also look at the alone part in this culture as being bad, because we are searching for energy and usually is stuck in codependent energy exchange. So some of us view it as like this, I don't need anybody. And some of us see it as this, I need so much, but everybody's left me out in the cold. But so the balanced, right? The balanced of that is using the time as a lone wolf to cultivate the relationship with yourself. Or cultivating the lone wolf within you, which is just your relationship with yourself. And while you may feel like you don't fit into a pack right now, it's almost always an indication that you are on the journey to your pack. And how do you find your pack? By ignoring yourself and just trying every pack that comes along? No. By cultivating a relationship with yourself so that when you come across your pack, you'll know it. Billy, I like that. I've identified more with bear in my life, an animal of solitude. Yeah. Bear energy. Hi, Comfy. It slipped me back into my own relationship with bear. And bear came to me not as a solitary creature so much, but as a protector, as a parent, as a Mama, Papa Bear protecting their baby bears. And the wisdom and the gentleness and the strength all mixed together. Ayana, my love, hello. Oh, wonderful. At the retreat you're on, everyone there cultivated such a lovely connective environment. I got to see the baseline of New Earth frequency. We moved energy and healed. We did it for all of us. We are creating these structures now. We are putting these practices into play now. The most important thing that you can do right now is to cultivate a relationship with yourself so that you know, right, who it is that wants to connect, and you know why it is or what it is that makes you want to connect. So you can be with you rather than trying to pull energy from everybody else. All right, my friends. I think the cream cheese is finally soft enough so that I can put it on a bagel. It's been sitting out in the sun for another hour or so. I would really love to see any and all of you in the Discord that would like to engage in this material. Anybody who would like to trade services for video editing and app development. I think there was another one maybe that I needed. Tech support. I need like tech support during lives and whatnot. So if you would like to trade said services, if you have the capacity to do them, send me a message and we can chat about it. If you would like a link to the Discord, I can just send you one if you send me a message. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to just send me a message. If you would like to offer a donation, I do have a tip jar. My Cash App thing is here on TikTok. Otherwise, my Linktree has a tip jar there. I offer this information for free. I do offer coaching and different memberships like that. Those are available on Patreon. They're also available directly through the Discord. But if you'd like to support the work that I do, just because I do it, I have one-off donation, or I also have a donation level membership. And while the dollar isn't king, I deeply appreciate the support, not just financial, but the holding space, the energy that you all bring to this space. I can't cultivate this by myself. And watching you guys cultivate it with me in the comments here makes me feel like we are doing exactly what we need to be doing. We are exactly where we need to be, exactly when we need to be here. I'm grateful so much to all of you. I love you deeply. I hope you go have a fantastic Friday. Come join the Discord, okay? Come join the Discord. Anything else? Just send me a message. Okay. Good night, Instagram. I love you. Good night.